Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kunoichi Kerfuffle. I'm Tiny Shiny, joined by the ever so lovely Chef Billy on the cast for our NA edition of our bracket. And we've had such crazy competition this morning. If you were tuning in earlier to this channel, you got to see the EU matches, our EU bracket. We got running for the first time in this event and made me so happy. 6 teams participating over on that end. We have another 12 whole teams of marginalized genders competing in the NA side, and it is going to be a tight competition all the way through, Billy.
You know, we do a lot of stuff with Calling All Heroes, and Bailey is one of our favorite people out there.
Oh, yeah.
Kunoichi does their own, and big kudos to CGL for also putting on
Yep.
a Calling All Heroes type event. So I mean, we're seeing the progress being made, and it just warms my heart. You and I love Calling All Heroes. We love marginalized genders. We love just our game, and boy, do we got some games going on today right out the gate. We got the Vancouver Titans Blue going up against the Valiant, and we're gonna have to take a look and see if Valiant can get their act together, because they got reverse swept last time, and they need to get themselves back into the winning ways. They are out for blood. They are out for revenge. Tiny, good lord, look at this lineup. I mean, HT alone scares me, but I think that Wisps is actually the silent assassin that everybody knows that they need.
This DPS line followed throughout. I mean, this whole roster is stacked. This team, the exact same one that just competed in the Calling All Heroes minor, placed second. They got reverse swept in the grand finals without dropping a single series from that point. It is never a feel good. The fact that they're still together and ready to play today, I mean, I had to be scared because, like, all around, you mentioned the DPS line, but Moving Fish is one of the best all-rounded tank players out there that can pull out so many different heroes, and especially with how this recent patch is evolving, that's going to be really put to the test.
I mean, the other ace in the hole that they have is Aramori. Hello. I mean, that's all I need to say. I mean, you've got Aramori on your team. Your backline is going to be pretty damn impenetrable, especially if they're on their game today. So she's going to be looking to really deal with all the pressure coming in. We've got some flankers going on. We've got some massive patch updates that have come through on the September 7th. So we are playing on that patch now.
Yep.
Zarya go burr right now, and we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at that Vancouver Titans Blue roster. And I mean, they're thinking that maybe they want to go ahead and get a sweep this time. I think we're going 5 maps here, honestly. We'll see how it goes, but What and Phone, I mean, they have a fantastic work ethic going on. Spinor is actually one of my favorite marginalized gender takes, and I'll tell you why. It's because of the versatility. And there's just a gamer sense about this tank player. You know that I play a lot of tank. We play quick play, we play competitive together. You know I'm a tank player. I'm actually learning stuff watching this gamer play, so I really want to see what they are going to do today up against this Valiant Guardians roster.
I mean, as a whole, Vancouver Titans Blue have participated in every single Calling All Heroes event, and even the previous Kunoichi kickoff. So, I mean, the level of synergy is just beyond what a lot of other teams have access to, and this is something we've seen them exploit time and time again. You mentioned Spinor. This guy is so good at getting the setup for players like What and Phone to get in and do the damage in a meta that we're currently heading into, where some things they're up in the air and it could be really all over the place. It starts at the tank. It starts at Spinor here, and they're going to be the guy to come out under this and make a difference for their team. And, I heard you mention before that you want to see this series go all the way. I totally think it can as well. We're playing today, just to give you guys a brief overview as well, we're playing the round robin stage. There's a total of 12 teams, so 3 groups of 4 teams. So 3 rounds total. Whole lot of numbers I just chucked at you, but all of these will be first to 2. So these series, they're gonna be quick. They're gonna fly right back to you. So you need to have a strong start beginning from that.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out, because we did have the tank changes. So Orisa not as oppressive. I mean, you still have to be a serious masochist to be playing tank in this economy right now. So I mean, you're in there for the pain. But we'll see. With a little bit of reduction to Orisa's stabilization on the front line. there's some opportunities there. Zarya does go burr as long as you have, your bubble management good. Your support line is keeping you up through the mid fight. I think that's where we really need to be watching as well, is how well are these teams supporting their tank player. Do you have that flank threat? Idiati is still very strong, especially if you're running it in combination with either an Echo or a Soldier 76. Those two are very good options right now. I'm seeing a lot of Cassidy show up with the Idiati, because then you get rid of that. If you do land the grenade, you've got the hindrance there, and there's no movement abilities. So I've seen a lot of Cassidy coming out with that as well. We're gonna see how these two teams duke it out. This is the beginning of our NA Kunoichi Kerfuffle. We're starting in Busan in Hangul. So let's go. We'll see how we get it to where we are going today. We all know that Busan has its own flavor, and I think this is still my favorite control map of all the control maps that we have. I love this one the most, because you can run 3 completely separate compositions and keep a team on the back foot. But we have been seeing a lot of the Orisa come out here. I think that Orisa still plays very well here across all 3 maps. I would rather see a D.Va, honestly, on downtown. Because the damage mitigation, the ability to flip from high to low. Orisa's just so static. Unless you're running with a Lucio, you don't have the ability to reposition as well as you do with the D.Va. But we'll see how these teams actually decide to work it out as we're getting ready to go into our first map here. Big thanks to everybody at CGL. Thanks to Kunoichi as well. And our backline today. Our backline, unfeatured hippie. We've got SGK Carol coming from the NECC. Whoop, whoop. Very excited to see her there. And everybody else that's making us look good, and these gamers shine brightly on your screens. And now I'm ready to get in.
Oh, me too, Billy. I mean, this is the moment that I've been waiting for this so long. I mean, we're coming fresh out of Calling All Heroes into the Kunoichi Kerfuffle. The marginalized gender tournaments are just popping off this year, and it just makes me so happy that we're giving these players the opportunity to shine in the spotlight here, especially on the channel that we're able to put all this together and get a bunch of new talent. That's the other thing I want to shout out, is not only do we have new faces coming to 3 and welcome Chef Billy, but we also have doubled the amount of staff, broadcast talent, producers, observers. We've doubled since that time, and like the scale of everything has grown so much. And this as a whole, I mean, giving these players the opportunity to play in a safe, competitive environment is one of the things that I really strive to achieve within the esports environment, and something that I know you too, Billy. You hold this close.
Oh, I do. I mean, we've come a long way, haven't we? I mean, I came out when I was 14, right? I came back. For everybody keeping track out there, that was 1992 is when I came out, and we have come a long way. And that's why this initiative, the Calling All Heroes project, as an umbrella for everything that filters underneath of it, that's why it's so important to me. Is because we do need the representation. We do need to have voices. And, first it was for just gay and lesbians. And now, we've got trans people. Now we've also got marginalized genders, everything else. And this is why this is so important, is because it's providing that safe space. It's providing damn good competition as well. I might want to also put that out there, not as a caveat, but as a fact. I tell you what, this is exactly where we need to be. We're putting it on here. Big ups to Nips and Headrammer also from CGL, giving us this platform here. I mean, CGL, I grew up, that's where I got my start. And, anytime I can come back here and be a part of the CGL, the Console Gaming League, it is always a big opportunity for me. And, well, we're waiting on one team. They just, I think that, it's iced coffee season, pumpkin spice lattes.
Ooh, okay. Is it too early for that?
No.
Do you think that? I feel like it's more of an October thing. Is that? I feel like it's not strictly October though.
What are you talking about?
I feel like it's October.
We're gonna box. We're gonna box.
Box? That doesn't sound fair.
I mean, you are tiny and I'm Chef Billy. I am 6'6", so I get it.
No.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. But still, I mean, pumpkins. I mean, they're probably waiting on their iced coffees. Waiting for those to kick in, waiting for everything else to happen. We could talk all day long, but I mean, we'll talk about, what's coming down the line. I mean, we've got the round robins, so of course everybody will play everybody in these round robins. Then we will go to a bracket once we settle the teams. So This is going to go over the entire weekend. You and I will be on it most of the weekend. We got other things going on this weekend as well. Collegiate Overwatch is back as well. We're going to see a lot of the talent that we see here in the Kunoichi Kerfuffle. We're going to see them in Overwatch Homecoming. So, I mean, Collegiate's coming back. We've got other things going on, and, there's a lot going on for these gamers. Lots of competition here in the Tier 3, Tier 2 scene.
Yeah.
I mean, this is go time, baby. We're finally back. The esports or the Overwatch winter, I guess, is over. Now that all these competitions are coming back, we have a lot of stuff, kind of between the end of Homecoming and getting to where we're at right now. So I'm ready for it. I know you're ready for it, and we'll see how these two teams go out. But I mean, predictions right now.
Ooh.
Oh man,
This
I
is
think
hard.
Valiant. It is too hard. I think Valiant, honestly, they might have a chip on their shoulder.
Really?
They might have a chip on their shoulder. And, I mean, they got reverse swept. So, I mean, you have to kind of erase that stain. And for Vancouver, I mean, they want to, restamp their authority on to the Guardians. So, we'll see how this goes out. I think we go 3 maps here. I think we go 3 maps here. Yeah.
It totally has the potential to go 3. I still think that overall, Valiant Guardians, in the past, strictly based on the past, Valiant Guardians have competed at a higher level, and not once has Vancouver Titans Blue been able to come out on top. And now that you have a Valiant Guardians team that is hungry for vengeance, ironically, against other people that are also participating in this tournament,
appear that we lost Tiny. So we're going to try and get her back. We're going to throw it to a quick little break here while we try to get her back, but don't go away. We'll have the beginning of our match here in just a few minutes.
Hello again, everybody. Good news! I have returned from the Abyss just in time for this series to get kicked off. Glad we have these issues now before the game, so I can actually watch it. Apparently, I was just too excited. Discord didn't like that, kicked me off. But hey, here we are, getting ready to go into map number 1, Chef Billy. They're waiting for such a long time. Rift Guardians have been taking every little second that they can to plan out their exact game plan. And I'm like, we were talking earlier, just amongst the staff too. They put minimal information about their preferences, like their maps, heroes, on their team sheet. They're taking this so seriously.
Well, I mean, they should. And I mean, I think the Titans are going to have a bit of a thing to say about that. We finally do have those Valley Guardians here in our lobby. Lattes have been secured. Espresso shots. Non-branded gamer drinks also done. And we're going to start out on Sanctuary. As our first map here, to start off the NA round robins. Whoop! And, well, already seeing Moving Fish. We know that they were a predominant off-tank player back when it was 6v6. So I am not surprised seeing the Zarya right now. Zarya does go burr.
Zarya go real burr here. And I think that Moving Fish, this is something that they're going to be able to play off of really easily. So the Valiant Guardians, they're set up. They have their Zarya comp. This is probably the most traditional thing you're going to see, with the exception of that one change coming in towards the end. Now, Billy, we look at the other side. It really starts to make me think about the plan coming in.
I mean, Shisado here on the Genji, I like it. He's going to be able to, repel some of that damage coming in. What's gone over to a Tracer? So backlines are actually going to be a little bit of more of a temptation here for said Genji. I was going to have to watch yourselves from one clip.
Yeah, I mean, Chisato is going to get really aggressive here, try to take that space. The one thing that Vancouver Titans Blue don't have is they don't have a solid front line or even a tank at all, with the Wrecking Ball being the first casualty of the game. Valiant Guardians off to a good start, and it's just off of this little chip fire. Vancouver Titans Blue have been forced to play so spread out, and they're going to lose the first catch.
I like it. I like it. I like what we're seeing here from this Valiant Guardians team right now. And, the projected barrier did get that buff to it. So it has a longer duration. It's got a little bit less of a cooldown. So those are two massive keys here to playing into the Zarya comp. Now, the big thing that I'm looking at right now is how are they going to, manipulate their right clicks. And there goes what down. Once again, it's Chisato. She is on a tear right now on the Genji.
Yeah. And Chisato is known for this Genji gameplay. This meta is meant for her. And Valiant Guardians, they're going to play around that. I don't blame them at all. You look with this bubble usage where Moving Fish is going, and they're pushing up to the spawns. They don't want to give Spinor the opportunity to set what up for some sort of elimination onto their team. So I like this form of aggression, because What is just not having a good time. She's just saying, what in the world is happening to me? Hasn't got a chance to play the game.
Nope. I mean, that's exactly what you're expecting. I mean, look at this early aggression coming through. Yeah, Chisato got a little bit overzealous there. The bubble usage is there, but look, this full charge Zarya right now. This is easy tickets for Moving Fish.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Valiant Guardians, I mean, they're making their presence felt right now, Billy. They are locking it down on all angles, and it's so many tools to work with.
I mean, the alt fire coming from Moving Fish, absolutely on point, getting up on that nice high charge. They're running into a double support ultimates, though. So, I mean, for the Captive Sun coming out from Claire here, this is going to have to be their initiation point. And, I mean, Spinor hasn't been able to get the work done. Good Lord, with hello!
Spinor can't get the work done, and neither can the rest of its team. Valiant Guardians managed to get a pick before the fight even starts, Billy, automatically making it go towards their favor. They invest minimal resources into each and every engagement, and suddenly here they are, final fight territory.
I mean, they used two ultimates there in the past fight and a half. They got out with their rush, and they also won the deal of the clock. And now they're just going to lock up Spinor. That's evil.
And Spinor can't get a touch now. I don't even think anyone on the Valiant Guardian or Vancouver Titans Blue can get a touch in. What a dominant round of Sanctuary. Valiant Guardians truly back for vengeance.
I mean, this is exactly what they wanted to do, and I mean, they are showing, basically off of this new patch update that's come through. There's no reason not to run Zarya, especially when you're that good. I remember Moving Fish playing the Diva. The Zarya was even better. So this is going to be where we look at right now. How is Spinor going to be able to engage on top of Moving Fish? Are they going to be able to really take the space that they need, or are they going to have to just take a sidestep away from Moving Fish, take out the tank 1v1, and try and get on top of Aramori, because Halo, I mean, Halo didn't have anything to do really other than speed people around.
Halo was just vibing. They're just like, hey, if you want me to do something, I'm here. I can give you a little speed escort, but there wasn't a need for her to do anything, even if an opportunity arose. And I mean, Vancouver Titans Blue were struggling to get a full 5 fight out at all, and this being mecha based as well. I expected Spinor to potentially look at a different hero, but ended up sticking on the Wrecking Ball, which, I mean, at least your DPS can bunker down a little bit more, but you also don't have the opportunity to take nearly as much space. Look how far up Wisp is right now, and the one benefit you have is this teleport. Nice punish though, clear, ends up falling, which you'll take that trade for Chisato any day of the week right now. Focus needs to be turned to his point though.
I mean, yeah, they're getting it. I mean, they're getting the trade though. It's actually in their favor. Halo's going to get aggressive here. Try to speed people around. They're going to go ahead and take this fight here on the point. Spinor's going to have to be locked down.
Yeah, Spinor is just not able to get anything done. I mean, half the time, they're just spent rolling around. How much health did that? Like a sliver of HP to continue this working. The Wrecking Ball hasn't been working out at all so far.
I mean, it's just compositional differences right now. I mean, there's not a healer inside here for Spinor. They're going to, you know, I think they're going to try and draw attention, but I mean, you didn't see a single mine come up, and Wisp once again takes the big threat down.
And Wisp just getting these opening eliminations has been huge for the Guardians, and it's won them these fights without having to invest much at all. And they're so coordinated. They're rushing as a full group, and VTB, they don't have that same presence to take it on.
I mean, the Titans right now need to figure out what kind of compositional difference they can make right now. Now, what has been getting some work done on the Symmetra? It's been locking down Chisato, and you've seen follow-up from the rest of from Titans, but it just hasn't been enough. It's just not enough in the tank department. You're just getting completely outplayed by moving fish.
This is just a very difficult spot for VTB to be in, and like you said, Billy, it's coming down just to these compositional differences here. You don't have a solid place to stand on. You're constantly being forced to move as the Valiant Guardians are just chasing you around the map. It's like a game of cat and mouse, and the cat is just feasting on the Vancouver Titans Blue team.
I mean, meow.
I should have known that was coming.
You knew that was coming. I say meow a lot, but I mean, grab into this next fight, and you've got the sound barrier. You can, I mean, if you lock up enough people, I think you invest the blade here and just make it a done fight. 2 ultimates to secure yourself to 99. You've got the mines, you've got the artillery strike, and a 5-pack from VTB. So we'll see how they deal with this coming in. That's actually a great grenade coming in.
And that is a huge start, because now not as much healing available for moving fish. Even Amari's like, oh my goodness, I don't blame you. That bashing thing goes kaboom, and suddenly you don't exist. I totally get it. It's happened to me so many times in the gameplay. And it's a pick like that that's going to get VTB in control of the objective. And they get the grab out from moving fish as well. Really would have liked to hold on to that one.
Oh, gamer, what was that? You were in the 3v5. Chisato was nowhere to be found, and Bowen has found the aim. Apparently their screen is now working at 140 hertz or FPS, because they were not hitting those shots earlier. Now everything seems to be landing. Everything's coming up roses here for the Titans, and they only used 2 ultimates into that fight. So I like the swap over to the Baptiste. That early window that they got was pretty damn good. Now they've got this artillery strike coming in.
Ooh, I love the pile drive setup there. Unfortunately, Aramori had that little bit cooldown just to keep the Valiant Guardians safe from the brunt of the damage they gave the chokehold now, which VTB did not want that to happen whatsoever. They're able to hold this crossfire angle for a little bit, but they need to make a move soon because Valiant Guardians are rushing in with their ults. Halo with the speed and the extra health, and no, don't forget Chisato slicing and dicing through Safrana. You are never safe, which Chisato has got you in her sights. VTB need to be able to trade this out, and we're nearing that point of 1-point territory for either squad. Granted, VTB have more time to work with, and they're draining the ultimate bank of the Valiant Guardians, so even if this just manages to get to overtime, there's plenty more opportunity for VTB to come back, but they're clearly not going anywhere. Look at the setup on the high ground, Billy, raining in the bullets from above. That 99% mark has been hit. The minefield making it difficult to contest. Nobody has dealt with the DPS on the high ground. Phone is still alive. Somehow, some way, it has to be Wisp with the overclock to take them down. Only a few players remaining for Valiant Guardians, and it simply is not going to happen with VTB having the greater amount of presence here. 99% once again. Can anybody make it? Moving Fish still has something to say here, Billy, but they're fighting a losing battle.
I mean, they've gone to install characters, and I mean, they've made it here, but it's just one after another. The kills are going to come in nice and happy. This is everything they needed. I mean, what a turnaround from round number 1, where we saw 100 to 0 there on Sanctuary. Definitely the close quarters working better here for Vancouver Titans Blue, but we are going to a much more open setup here with the downtown sub-map coming up, and I think that if we look at what, compositions changed around here, if you can move phone around a lot more frequently than what we saw on Sanctuary, if you can actually get the setup points and be able to, use that teleporter on cooldown, I think that they stay with it. I think that Claire swapping over to the Baptiste is also the biggest change that we saw. We have protection in the back line. We've got the Immortality Barrier. The window obviously was huge for them a couple times there on Mecha Bay. So, I like the change of Spinor sticking to their guns, but moving Fish back onto the Zarya here, this is a lot better setup for them, I think.
The interesting thing about Vancouver Titans Blue comp is you have a bunker poke style compositions you're running, and a little oddball, no pun intended, of Spinor on the hamster. It's so weird. It doesn't seem like that it should work, but the disruption, the attention that Spinor is able to take away from the rest of their team is so big, because Phone can move around the map with these teleporters, makes the rest of the Valiant Guardians' lives difficult. Halo finds herself out in La La Land and in a much darker place, 6 feet under. Chisato going to be the one to turn it around. Already managed to grab 2, but you're not escaping the grasp of an angry Brigitte.
I mean, Brigitte right there is, I think, the better choice. And I think that that's why they have brought out the Swedish healer, is that you do have that CC. You've got a couple of ways to keep yourself safe, and also make sure that Claire stays safe as well. So Aramori actually going over to the Ana now. This is actually a change that I was hoping to see from the second map, but wow, what? With the right click, the all-fire, hello?
What is getting vengeance from that first map? I believe she was the first one to die 3 fights in a row. I mean, that's not a good feeling at all. But what it does do is Valiant Guardians, they're forced to change some compositions up. Key in the tank.
Well, I mean, you've got mines, about 2/3 of the way there. We've got the Drunker Queen coming out here, so you're gonna be able to close the gap a lot there. Also pull somebody out of their comfort zone. So we'll see how they get it. There's the land with Gracie.
That's an interesting teleporter spot, and look at them. They're all just like dodging and weaving. Moving Fish doesn't know where to look. They're starting to get dizzy with everything that's going on, and because Vancouver Titans Blue, they confused them. Spinor went in and just picked off players one by one as they're all just watching the marvel that was this teleporter play.
I mean, this is turned into a bit of a kerfuffle, if you were. I mean, Sombra's not in a great place right now, but I think that they need to swap something up here, DPS-wise. I mean, once you get the Blade out. The Soldier, I also think the Cassidy works good here. Also, you can go aerial. You don't really have much to deal with it other than phone on the Bastion. So, I mean, they've got options here. It is at 63%, so we need to see a little bit more of the adaptability coming through.
This is a struggle. I mean, who's gonna push into an ant matrix with phone behind? I mean, I certainly wouldn't. It buys them so much time to work with. The fact that it costs you 1 ult to get like 10 percentage points plus some after that. This is basically VTB securing themselves that 99% on the objective unless something goes seriously out of line right now, and that could be Chisato. Chisato wants to be the one to make things go wrong for VTB. She slices in, grabs the DPS, the high ground control, now up for grabs, and Valiant Guardians, they're taking the point, and they're not done yet. They have to commit the sound barrier. These eliminations are going their way, or at least they want them to be. Wisp is still really low, but Chisato alive and as happy as ever on her Genji.
Well, I mean, you finally get the work done, and I mean, you build up almost 1/3 of the way towards your next blade, so, the value is there. Nano, of course, helping them get that blade, most of the value. Let's see where Foam goes, though, with this artillery strike. We're at 92%. It's final fight territory here for VTB. The retake here is going to have to be very coordinated. The early artillery strike is going to come out.
such an early ultimate. I mean, you're not going to get anybody with that, with Valiant Guardians being as spread out as they are. I mean, I guess you could say it was forced by Wisp, just kind of poking and prodding towards the backline. At the very least, it gets Vancouver Titans Blue on the objective with this teleporter to just dart back and forth. There is no safe spot on this point, and with it being one fight territory, all VTB has to do is to clean up the rest of these players. With Aramori going down, it is looking grim for the Valiant Guardians. Moving Fish didn't hit anything with their ultimate either. I mean, this is just brutal for the Valiant Guardians. They look so dominant on map number 1, but here they are down, beaten, and hurting. Only Moving Fish left alive, not for long. That percentage getting to that 99. I mean, you got Wisp coming in for a touch, maybe a couple tags in from here on out, but this needs to be a serious miracle for Valiant to come back.
I mean, there it is, and I mean, Anti does come out and lands on the Spiner, so I mean, no healing there. They have an opportunity, that Wisp is down.
It was in those minefields too. I mean, Halo, all right, you get the elimination on the phone. That's something nice you can work with. Arbori setting up these eliminations while Moving Fish makes it happen. Really, the pain that must feel. What said it in the chat, and it very well is qualified as a classic Charlie Niner. VTB, they're coming out on this series. I labeled them as the underdogs. They're proving it wrong.
I'm so ticked off because they actually were winning the fight.
They
actually had the fight, and they forget to touch. Aramori, of course, getting the work done here. But man, I mean, that's going to be a very, very jagged pill to swallow for Valiant Guardians, because they had the fight won. They had the flip turned around. Oh my word. Okay. Well, it's time to reset. It's time to reset and go next map.
I mean, Valiant Guardians are just... First you get reverse swept in a grand finals match that everybody thought you would win. Then you 100-0 on first point. Lose the second one, kind of close. All right. We move to downtown. You have a chance to win the fight. You were winning the fight! And you get off the coin. Like,
and you get off
where's the mental at this point?
I know what I'd be doing right now.
I love it.
You know what? I gotta go. It's bedtime. I gotta take a shower. Gotta go. But I mean, they still have another map.
They do.
Map.
They do.
It is loser pick. So Valiant Guardians will be choosing our next map. We'll see, you know, what they decide to come up with. So, you know, it's coming up here very shortly. But I mean, for them, you just gotta, you know, wipe that one away. GG go next, and hopefully take us to a third map.
Well, third map. We're feeling it, Valiant Guardians. Like, they clearly showed that they have the potential. And let's be honest here, as cool as the Wrecking Ball pick was, that's not going to work on every single map. It is much easier to pull that off on Control, any types, but a lot of the hybrid selections, especially when you look at the ones in the pool, that's 100% going to be favored. And if we return to those same compositional issues that Vancouver Titans Blue were facing in round number 1, this is something the Valiant Guardians can come back from.
I mean, and Moving Fish has all the tanks. So just to remind everybody, Moving Fish does have all the tanks. So depending on what we see from the hybrid map that's chosen by Valiant, I think that they're going to play into Moving Fish's strengths rather than the Vancouver Titan Blues weaknesses. So that's what I'm looking for as far as our next map pick. We're going to see Valiant come out on a map that they know they can win with compositions that they've been practicing with. And, you know, I mean, the team synergy for both these teams has got to be up there. So Kings Row is going to be the map pick coming in from Valiant. So the Streets of London is where we're going to join battle next. And this is a chance for the Valiant Guardians to get themselves back into this series. This is our first matchup of the NA round robins. Everybody will get a chance to play each other. So, you know what? No time like the present to get themselves back into the new ways.
Nope. And what better place to do it on the everyone's comfort map, Kings Row. I mean, this isn't the pool. Kind of expected that it's going to be the selection here. And the fact that Valiant Guardians picked this one, you want to keep playing to your own strengths. That's something that both of these teams have wanted to do so far, Chef Billy, is even if the Titans lean further away from the meta, they're playing what they're comfortable with. Like, they were confident with Spiner on the Wrecking Ball and setting up everybody else as more of a bunker. It is such an out-of-the-box strategy. It was so creative. I'm still like, wow, I cannot believe that worked. But that's exactly what happened. And Valiant Guardians, they weren't able to recover. These are both stubborn teams that don't like to counterpick. They're going to play what they're best at, and that's pretty much it.
Oh boy, I can only imagine what chat right now is saying about what just went down. And well, I mean, hopefully we don't have Sir Charles IX come back and visit us here. So
Please no.
we'll see if there's any substitutions coming in from the gamers here, from either side. I think that we're going good with it. I think this will favor. I think this will definitely favor Valiant right now. So as they bring themselves through, we'll see how they get themselves lined up. And it looks like VTB. They have decided they are going to attack first. So Valiant Guardians are going to know what kind of a benchmark they have to get up against. We're going to see their composition come out. I don't hate it. Aramori is going to show us the Baptiste this time. So I think that they want to have that little bit of a cushion, a little bit of a gimme lifeline there with the immortality barrier. They're still going to have the speed. They're still going to have the hit scan prowess. And Chisato really was lighting it up on the Genji. So there are opportunities here, but we'll see what VTB are able to do here as we see their lineup set up. We got 7 seconds to go. Well, we'll see. We'll see if VTB gets it done.
There's no way they do this, right? There's no way. I'm not gonna say anything until we fully walk out of the spots. I mean, the Will pick, all right, that could be changed. The Wrecking Ball, I don't see the Wrecking Ball, so I'm gonna say that Spinor is out of spawns, ready to call some shenanigans. Oh, there he is, up on the high ground, and woo! Already making Chisato's life very difficult here, and they're sticking with it. They're sticking with Spinor on this ball. I don't hate it. You're going to disrupt Wisp. You're gonna keep this high ground control in your favor, and just let the rest of your team do their job. I mean, Phone and What here, easily able to get their team into great positions while the Wrecking Ball was just beating them down. The attention, the focus fire for Valiant Guardians is forced to be split just because of this strange playstyle.
I mean, you've got the movement with the teleporter. Phone is getting all the attention they can handle. I mean, this is going to create opportunities for Spiner to be able to go around the backside and get that work done. A very high charged Zari right now. Spiner, 71% towards the mines already, getting the work absolutely done. Yeah.
And Spider even gets Chisato the opening pick. You don't want to stand behind the Ant Matrix. Wisp needs to turn this one back. Ooh, but he eats that blast to the face. Goodbye to the Sojourn player, Valiant Guardians. Suddenly, you don't have those tools at your disposal. I mean, maybe you can work up to a Sound Barrier or a Graviton Surge here, which would be great, especially to start closing this out. Once you deal with Spinor, the rest of Vancouver Titans Blue struggles to find the open.
Well, that's because you don't have the disruption in the back. I mean, that's why Spinor kind of has to be public enemy number one. If you're Valiant Guardians right now, you've got to stop the pressure coming in. Even looking at how they've set up their support line, you've got Saffrona on the Brigida, so there's still that frontline presence and an Amp Matrix and the mines. Hello?
I saw Witz go flying in. I'm like, uh-oh, that can't be good. It's even Phone that managed to take them out of the fight. I mean, the Graviton Surge got pulled out there too. Valiant Guardians, big investment to the black lane. They couldn't guarantee that single elimination. And finally, even with these turrets and minefields gone, they forfeited that singular tick. Have a little bit more time to work with just to keep moving Fish alive, which absolutely have to do right now. Halo committed the Sound Barrier. That is going to be enough for the time being, but you need to remember these spawns are so far away, and boom!
Oh my god!
It's Arabori. That's about it. Valiant Guardians, they lost that stable ground. All the supports quite literally taken out from under them. They don't have a chance of holding this down.
Well, I mean, they can possibly get a last-second touch, but no, I mean, seeing Moving Fish getting just obliterated. What a smart photon barrier that came out from What? Completely denying the healing resources that would have kept Moving Fish up. Going over to the Orisa now. So you're going to be looking at more of a static composition. We'll see if there's other changes that come through from the Guardians, because they do have Ant Matrix coming up. They'll be able to hold around Bookstore, be able to look at the disruption coming in from Spinor.
Yeah.
Spinor has been really putting it on there, 69% towards their next set of mines. They're getting the work done, and it's just scary to look at.
I mean, that's probably part of the reason they switched to the Orisa too, is you now have an extra layer of CC with that, both the javelin throw and the spin. So Moving Fish also hoping to disrupt Spinor as they go for the disruptions in the Valiant Guardians backline. It also gives you a much better opportunity to hold down this choke point. Without a solid tank here, this is arguably the hardest spot in the map for the Vancouver Titans comp to be able to pull out, and Chisato being in the backline with the blade, gonna fare all too better. I mean, the minefields helped you a little bit, but it's only delaying the inevitable.
I mean, you trade 2 ultimates to hold space there. You get the Ant Matrix out, which does help Moving Fish especially get that up. And I mean, you've got so much more mitigation here coming from the Orisa. So I think that's another big change right now. But this Ant Matrix is going to be huge!
That catches Aramori off guard. Second time that's happened to her in this entire match. Never a feel good for the Valiant Guardians. And that is just such a good use. So much value gained from the single amplification matrix. You're just going to get back so quickly.
I mean, you love it. You love to see it. I mean, in the CC there, when you saw Chisato coming in, Safrona was ready with the bash and the flail and took care of the DPS threat. Now, for Guardians coming into this fight, they've got 3 ultimates. So they've got some staying power. Do they commit early with the overclock? No, they do not, because Aramori's down again!
I'm convinced that Phone's grenade is just tracking Aramori across the map. That should not be happening as much as it does. I mean, Valiant Guardians, it's now or never. They're committing all of their ultimates, and they're down a major support. They need to make something happen, and Moving Fish recognize the opportunity. Suddenly, they don't have the support on the attacking end, but someone needs to get on the payload. No, they did it again, Billy. They did it again. They backed off because they needed the support, but it just wasn't there. Aramori hadn't gotten back yet. Even if they win the fight, they lost the war.
Well, I mean, that's 2 points gained here for VTB. Spinor, by the way, has swapped over to the Orisa. So once the Orisa came out, that completely changes up the VTB lineup.
Yeah.
And now you've got stabilization in the front line. You don't have to worry now for the Guardians. They don't have to worry about that flank threat unless you're looking at what and their teleportation strategies.
It's a lot less pressure onto really the remainder of the Vancouver Titans blue, just to have Spinor tanking a lot of that damage in the front. The main focus is taken away from them and on to the Battle Cattle in the backline. Significant damage dealt. Look at the health bars of the Valiant Guardians. They're barely hanging on, and they won't be for much longer with the loss of their tank Phone, taking advantage of everybody being so split, separated, nowhere to run except back to the spawns.
Ant Matrix ready again for Claire coming into this fight. If they can get around this second corner here and set that Ant Matrix up, there's going to be some serious Ant questions that are going to be asked of the Guardians. Now, you do have Nanoblade ready to go. Pull out the Immortality Field, and you should win the fight.
It's such a big cooldown that you're going to have, and Claire's not going to let them get close because Chisato, no! Takes it straight to them, could care less about the Ant Matrix in her face. She's just going to go ahead and get 3 with the Dragon Blade. All in a day's work for Chisato.
Nanoblade gets in the fight. I mean, that's a quick fight as well. So, I mean, for VTB, if you're looking at that, and they did put the Ant Matrix out, I think them pressing Q actually cost them the fight of them being able to deploy that immortality barrier in time. So they get it done there. We're at 1:15 left on the clock. You still have overclock and the sound barrier.
You have tools. You have tools right now if you're the Valiant Guardians. Only a minute to spend, but you cannot let this happen, Billy. Oh, Wisp needed to be alive. That's your main person, but the boop, Halo Red, the teleporter. Suddenly things got a little bit more even. The Valiant Guardians have a lifeline to hold on to, but not if you're steering straight between the eyeballs at full charge. I mean, this is gonna be scramble time for the defense.
I mean, we're just seeing who's going to get the touch here. Chisato going over to a Bastion of their own. They're about 5 meters away. Here it comes up. They've got to get Halo with the sound barrier coming out.
And Halo's going to help with this photon barrier. You can't get any value out of your DPS ultimates. You need to send your players all the way into the back line. But the counterplay is beautiful for VTB. They had the time to get set up, prepare for the oncoming barrage, and that's going to get the Vancouver Titans Blue Squad 25 seconds and a full completion.
I mean, Wisp going down at the beginning of this extended fight is the reason why Valiant Guardians lose this map with time in the bank. If Wisp stays alive and is allowed to get that overclock out, it pulls out an Immortality Barrier, it pulls out the rally, and then you can come out with your own sound barrier and then be able to fight harder than what we just saw. We saw the Scrabble fight come in. Wisp came back out and had to run back in because they took a direct from what? This Symmetra play that has come out from what? She has been putting the work in. It has been beautiful. The teleporters have been absolutely exquisite. And Phone is following up so beautifully on the back of them. The support is there, the synergy is there, and that's why we're sitting where we're at.
And that's all you need. I mean, Vancouver Titans Blue. It was not an understatement earlier when we were talking about how long this team has played together. They're on the same wavelength. They are able to have a level of trust that a lot of other teams haven't had time to build up, to be frank with you. And now that you're showing the adaptability, your original plan didn't work, fine. They can switch it up. They moved Sminer over to the Orisa. They looked so much better. Valiant Guardians have been struggling to handle what Phone and what have been putting out ever since they've been enabled further by their team.
Okay, so I like this from Valiant. So if they stick with this, they've got some burst healing. They've got a long range. Oh my lord! Long range threat in this. Plus, they also have vision, so they're going to be able to see where this setup is coming from.
You have a little bit more room to work with, plus the extra poke damage from which I am a big fan of it. You don't have a teleporter though, and that is going to get Orisa into your backline. Chisato was not ready for that. The displacement came on through. I am just such a fan of these teleporter plays that What has put out. I mean, it is clear that J Venom has been cooking up these strats for Vancouver Titans Blue, and they've been practicing them so hard.
I mean, one of my favorite coaches in our scene, just a genuine strategic mastermind, and one of the nicest people as well. So we'll see what Valiant Guardians have to cook up here. They know that the vision is there. Wisp needs to get an early pick.
Need to find something for Valiant Guardians right now, and they just can't get out of the choke point. Phone is vibing down mid, all the support in the world going her direction, and what do you do right now? Valiant Guardians, you need to come up with something, which I guess you commit the Captive Sun here, but you don't get the value. The Immortality Field is out. Ooh, it's able to escape towards another day. Clear eventually caught in the crosshairs of Halo. All of the perseverance played off, but at what cost? The entirety of the Valiant Guardians is down. They're back in the spawn rooms. No follow-up available.
I mean, you do have Terra Surge and the Matrix. I think you go in with Moving Fish and see what they can get done here. I mean, you're gonna have the Immortality Barrier to keep them up through it. They really do need to take the space in a hurry.
You need to make it snappy, and you finally have an opportunity to be able to get onto the objective, which is something, and getting the tank down. That is what you need to do. It doesn't matter if they're double peeking you, courtesy of the teleporter. You have a window, and guess what? Windows go both ways. That's going to be a nice cleanup for the Valiant Guardians to finally finding their rhythm again.
It took everything, though. It took everything other than, you know, their Terra Surge. Chisato gets their artillery strike up in the meantime. Wisp is actually going to mirror What now, so they're going to have to, you know, close the gap there with the Photon Barrier. But I mean, we got mirror comps right now. Halo showing us their Brigitte now, and I really want to see how do they engage on the back of this. Is Halo going to be the aggressive Brigitte that I like to see, where, you know, you kind of leave Aramori in the back for their own devices? And this is what I want to see.
Aramori is so capable of being independent right now. Halo can afford to get aggressive. I mean, look at the ult charge just climb for the Brigitte player. This is Valiant Guardians. They realize that all the space they need to take is right here. I mean, Photon Barrier gonna stop them just at the bookstore, but once that goes down, you suddenly have a lot more room to work and nearly a rally to put into play. Valiant Guardians have one of their own. The Terra Surge gets them a little bit more room, but doesn't find quite that damage shot that you wanted to see. The Matrix, though, the huge shield bash. What a setup. I rarely see those. The timing window is so small for that stun, but it could not have worked better into the Guardians' favor.
What a debate coming out from Wisps right there. They fake the teleport strategy up to the high ground, and then they go in. They get the Terra Surge out. Moving Fish gets all that early damage. They pull the Immortality Field, and then they just collapse. They let loose of the rally. Now you're going into the window. This should buy them point number 2.
Yeah, I cannot imagine the Vancouver Titans Blue want to touch here. The window wants to be an assurance for that, but the ultimates are still being committed regardless. Heftier on the Guardian side. They know they can't lose to afford that fight, so I'm okay with that Heftier commitment. And please don't overextend more than you already have to. Conserve your resources, because you still got 4 minutes to push.
I mean, this is still an impressive push coming from them. You're going to have artillery strike coming up for Chisato here. She has been putting the work in.
Yeah.
Mori's window absolutely wins on point 2.
That's really all you needed to. You put it on the payload, and suddenly you got a nice little topper for your good old, I almost said Carm, thinking Rocket League. Now, different game, people! This payload's rolling through the streets, though. The Foundry, the final point that the Valiant Guardians have to attempt to get through to make this happen, and right now they have an advantage in the health. Chisato is in the backline somehow. The teleporter from Wisp, that's what it was! Billy, this is exactly what Valiant Guardians did. They took the playbook straight out of Vancouver Titans Blue, scribbled all over it. Now it's theirs.
I mean, you know, it's always nice to share your crayons. I always say that,
Crayons are
you need
great.
to share your crayons. And, you know, now you can go with artillery strike and the Terror Surge and just completely destroy them.
They're so aggressive right now. VTB, they don't have anything to work with. They're being held in their spawns. The Baptiste is down. You don't have sustained. Moving Fish getting low, but still the supports shall remain. Not the same for Vancouver Titans Blue. We thought they came in strong, Billy. Valiant Guardians just did it better.
I mean, we saw 4 different DPS heroes come out from Wisp trying to find a way through. Finally, it came down to the complete mirror that actually gets them the job done. So that's well done from the Guardians. We'll see now how they defend. They only have to defend for a minute. And we'll see what Vancouver Titans will get done here in this first minute.
It's not a lot of time, to be honest with you, and they gotta make it snappy. They really do. Wet's teleports have been great to get into that space, to have the superior positioning, but I do wonder, do you think they go back to the Wrecking Ball strat that they had earlier, or do they stick with the Orisa, just with the success it's been having?
Absolutely. I think that you do. I think that you've got to have that disruption because, you know, in the mirror, Moving Fish, I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I think Moving Fish just barely better resupply because Spider showed me a lot there in the streets.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I think that for this attack, mobility is going to be key. Trying to see if they can get an early pick coming out. But I mean, look at this. We're looking at, you know, basically what Valiant Guardians have been running the entirety of this King's Row. This is going to be a hard checkpoint or choke point to break through. Maybe what can get something done early.
What? On the Widowmaker for an early shot. I mean, Chisato was out there, but not quite in the crosshair. So back over to that Symmetra. Not too shocking at all. We've seen it once before from Vancouver Titans Blue. The only difference this time is Valiant Guardians, they know what to expect. They understand what the gameplay is, and now we have Moving Fish to kind of sit as a more stable opportunist from the behind and just walk through the remnants of Vancouver Titans Blue. I mean, this is the biggest issue that you can have with running the Wrecking Ball here, is the remaining 4 of your players are left high and dry without a tank to defend them.
Exactly, and you don't have the mitigation either. So I mean, the Bastion just gets work done. The Symmetra just goes even more than before, and now we're at 15 seconds, no closer to an ultimate for anybody. Mori actually closest right now at 56% towards the window.
Junkrat. They're pulling out the Junkrat. I mean, this truly is last-ditch effort right now, and VTB, you gotta get on the point. The Wrecking Ball is there, or is not there. Sorry about that. Spider might have a caster curse, but if you have 4 players looking at you, you cannot expect to be living through that. Full hold for round number 3 is what VTB is gonna have to accept and attempt to replicate it on the Valiant Guardians' defense.
I mean, filthy. And the big thing is that we're gonna have ultimate rotations here for both teams because there is so much time. You get at least 1, maybe 2 full rotations of ultimates. So for Vancouver Titans, for what they need to do right now, my dear friend, they need to be patient. They need to, you know, keep track of these teleporter strats that Valiant Guardians really surprised me with. Once they went into the full mirror, they got the work done. So for them, they're going to have to be patient. They're going to have to take their opportunities to strike. And I think that Spinor's going to have to come out on the Orisa. You've got to have that mitigation. You've got to have that stalwart presence in the front line to be able to deal with what Valiant Guardians are about to throw at them.
Patience, young ones. That's what I imagine you saying right there. I can't really say that, but you can say that. So. And, Okay. Anyways, moving on from. I'm sorry, Billy. You're great. You're great. You're the esports grandpa. You're awesome. But Valley Guardians,
Wow.
regardless, moving on to their own attack. They need to make it snappy. You have Wisp on the teleporter, solid tank line to push this one through. Mirror comps on both ends. I mean, the time difference here, the fact that you're going to get ultimate is going to be just crazy for Valiant Guardians. I mean, they don't need much. Not much to push them over the edge, to get a singular tick. I mean, even the teleport to the high ground early, there's no point to defend, and BTV, they forfeit so much space.
The fact that you've got split DPS as well from both high ground sides, that's exactly what they need. Oh, early immortality field, though, that might be danger, Will Robinson.
That's such a big cooldown to go out, and you want to get aggressive. Chisato yet to be healed up and never will be, as a matter of fact. Vancouver Titans Blue, they forced that cooldown out of Aramori so dang early. It's going to cost them, but the tank going down. Can they make up for that loss? They need to get something in. I mean, Aramori, yeah, that's something, but you just don't have a solid frontline presence. And time again, if we learned anything today on map number 2, it is that moving fish on this Orisa is the stable ground Valiant Guardians need to succeed to push their series to a map 3.
Oh, my word. That's exactly what they needed. And it was just the fact that Spinor goes down, they lose their support line or the line of sight. So we are going all the way. We're going to go to map number 3 here. Chisato getting the work done on the Genji so damn good. But I mean, this is close. It was close. I mean, it was close until it wasn't. And this was just a brutal nano blade. It happened so fast that it was just, there was no chance for them to really turn around to it. So we're going to throw it to a quick little break. We're going to let these teams decide where we're going next, but don't go away. We'll be back with the final map here of our first round of the NA round robins.
The Kunoichi Kerfuffle continues with a first match of the NA bracket. Already at map 3, Chef Billy! We're in some great competition this weekend, and of course, we need to see how this first match ends up playing out. Valiant Guardians came back in map number 2 of King's Row to even up the score, forcing us to a flashpoint map to be the decider for the first round robin match.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to be heading to Suravasa, so Flashpoint is going to be our next map type, and I will start out on the Flashpoint of Market, and then we'll see where we go from there. So are we going to see the teleporter strats once again? Because you know, as well as I do, having played it enough now, speed kills here in Flashpoint. The initial bloody engagement generally sets the tone. I like running with a Reinhardt here because you do have the potential for getting a early kill off of a charge. So I've really been liking seeing the Reinhardt played here with a Lucio and with the Symmetra. You have 2 speed options. The Junker Queen works incredibly well here as well, pulling somebody out of position, plus, you know, having the commanding shout, which gives you the speed there. I think Lucio is almost a must play here because you do have the close-in spaces, the enclosed spaces that you do have to fight upon. Sound barrier is going to be incredibly important. If you do run the Symmetra, I mean, if you run the Queen, my other favorite Queen, Symmetra, and then Lucio, you've got 3 mobility options, and I think that for a team can be lethal. So as we head in here, we got I asked for it, and we may be getting it. I have not seen the moving fish Reinhardt in a minute, so I am looking for this. Oh, okay, Zarya, even better.
I don't think I've seen the moving fish Reinhardt ever.
Oh, I've seen it. But here's the thing: if Spinor plays on the wrecking ball here, you have mobility, you have disruption. Moving fish is going to have to go back over to the Orisa to deal with all the problems that this wrecking ball has presented today.
On paper, this is a fight that Spinor should be able to help Vancouver Titans Blue win. The only disadvantage you have is, I mean, I guess you don't have the speed of the Lucio, but who needs it? If you're a wrecking ball, you're going to roll around anyway, just bot people into the sightlines of your team, and Phone isn't going to have an issue staying alive with both Claire and Safrana at their backs, and Spinor could just roll around, push these players out of the immortality field, force it out early, and Chisato can't get anything done here at all because Aramori is pushed away, can't get the healing in, no push is able to happen for the Valiant Guardians at all. Yep. It was a comp battle from the beginning. We knew this is what was going to happen.
Yep, and I mean, running the Zarya, you can't run the Zarya here. You can't run Zarya into this wrecking ball competition. There's the changes right away. So all the changes coming through, they're going to go into this mirror matchup. Yeah, I thought Moira would have been interesting. And actually, I mean, you could have gotten a lot done with the DPS healer like that. But we'll see. We'll see how they work into this matchup. Now, it's all going to be about how they position their teleporters and can they get into that backline fast enough.
Yeah, it needs to be on the element of surprise and hope you can get it all through without getting disrupted. Like the pile drive right there. It gets the team off guard. They turn towards the wrecking ball. Suddenly, Wisp looks like a prime target for everyone else to collapse on. They're just going to buy more space with the ultimates that they have coming out. And Valiant Guardians, they got to try to reset.
I like the reset, though. I like the disengage right there. You know, they basically devalue Claire's amp matrix, so now they push in with their own.
Have their own to work with, but that is such a peculiar position to be playing off of, and quite a tricky one to go through. I mean, they did the rotation delay, but they can't get through the minefield with the time as low as it is. They have to teleport, but they're bombarded. They're met with their artillery strike. Oh, man. You gave Phone a call. They picked up, and goodbye, Valiant Guardians. You mentioned this is going to set the pace for the game, Billy? That might be it.
I mean, okay, I'm a fan of that call of yours. I have to say right now, that was the best call I think I've heard from you ever. It was
really?
So perfect. Phone, they called Phone and Phone picked up. Okay, I'm putting that in my annals of best calls ever. Uber, watch your job, buddy. Good Lord, that was great. But I mean, they do have some totals coming in here for Guardians. They're going to have the rally coming up, and actually, Halo's actually outstripped Safrona in that department. So, I mean, early rally can actually win them a fight.
I would hope so. I mean, Valiant Guardians need something to go their way right now because nothing has gone towards their favor, and you need to start changing that pace. You're on a new point, so hey, new time to work. The photon barrier is going to end up going down before the point is fully capped, so you still have a lot of time to kind of work this one out. If you can get the wrecking ball off of your backline, I will say this is much more difficult to work with, and Chisato answers back with an artillery strike of their own. Gave Phone a taste of their own medicine.
Hello, Chisato. Beautiful. And they get the capture, and they got all the tools that they need right now. I think this is time for Spinor. Once you get your set of mines out, you might want to think about changing your tank setup. Because the disruption was not bueno there, and they're starting to really lock in on this wrecking ball.
I mean, this wrecking ball is having a hard time. I mean, the composition swap, that makes sense. You also, look how open this point is, Billy. There's not as much space for Spinor to completely roll out of sightlines, so therefore they can't stay in the fight as long as you want to, nor do you have the stabilization. I mean, Moving Fish can just chill on the objective. Good old Battle Cattle said, no, this is my point. You stay far, far away from that. The only difference here is going to be in those teleporters that you can get, and Moving Fish yoinked them off of the high ground. So Valiant Guardians gonna take another fight here. They're starting to find their game.
Yep, they completely devalue the Claire amp matrix as well. So this is 2 Amp Matrices now that have gone out from Claire, and Guardians have completely devalued them. So I think a little bit more judicious usage of that ultimate from Claire will be required here. But now, I mean, Aramori, they've got their Amp Matrix, they've got the mobility, they've got the teleporters, they've got the speed.
Yeah, I mean, Valiant Guardians, they can make this rotation pretty swiftly if they can manage to dodge the artillery strike, which will be no problem. But that immortality field is out, so if Spinor can get a nice pile drive in, have that crossfire come in from the DPS, this is going to be a big problem for the Valiant Guardians. They're trying to push in the minefields, zoning away their Amp Matrix so they can't gain nearly as much value. But Chisato, she's still on fire. This Bastion pick has been nearly as good as the Genji in terms of the value she's managed to gain, and she doesn't show any signs of stopping until the tank falls out from in front of them. Spider somehow manages to get 2. I mean, that just shouldn't be allowed, Billy.
It should be allowed. I mean, they've already put out the rally, so I mean, that gets done. Halo's going ham right now on the Brigida and gets the work done. So that's going to be the initial capture. Halo with a 3K. Ooh. Hello. Wonderful work. That's actually going to be a problem, though. That's actually going to be a problem. You do have Inspire healing up right now. But they don't have a lot of stabilization power here on the point. They need to get Moving Fish back into their clutches so they have that damage mitigation coming through.
You need your support back right now, and I mean, VTB, they're going to full steam ahead this push, knowing Aramori isn't quite in the position to heal up just yet, and that's gonna get them the space on the point, but the sandwich over the photon barriers, good old blue and red battling it out, and I mean, ever since that first artillery strike, Chisato is making her presence known and felt. Like, my goodness, she is doing so much for this team right now, and has to be a main target. What identifies it gets the punish in, but Valiant Guardians, they're standing strong as ever.
I mean, this is great from them. This is going to be the second capture point taken here. What a spear coming through on phone.
That's it.
Oh my god, Moving Fish.
You got so excited about, I mean, Moving Fish, understandably so. I mean, Valiant Guardians, that's their second point in a row that they're going to take. They're now up on match points of the match point game, and have forced Vancouver Titans Blue to get off the wrecking ball.
I mean, the big thing for them right now is that they only had to invest, the photon barrier to answer the pressure coming in from Phone. Phone's going to have an artillery strike, and they have been deadly with them today. So I think, early coming out from Moving Fish. Hello?
It's like, no, we don't need to fight at the point. We can take this one right here. I mean, this is the cool part about Flashpoint, Billy, is that you can choose to take fights in so many different places, especially on this rotation. That's what Valiant Guardians did. They felt they were favored, and there you go. They essentially get that one for free. The pause will come in, but, I mean, Valiant Guardians, this is a great spot for them to be sitting, especially with how this series has been progressing.
Well, I mean, it's all come down to basically what the meta has been kind of sitting around right now with the Orisa being able to take space and hold it. You've got the oppression and the mobility of the teleporter with the Bastion. I mean, they're going at it like 2 Roman gladiators right now. I'm loving the carnage that we're seeing, forcing Spiner off of them, off of their wrecking ball. That is almost like a death knell to me. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if Spinor is able to get up to a Terror Surge fast enough, because you've got Moving Fish feeling in their wheelhouse right now. You've got What on the other side, just laying waste with the right clicks, the alt fire of the sim. I think What has actually been a better player than than Wisp has been on the Symmetra. So it's going to come down to these little individual mirror battles. I think Moving Fish right now has the tank locked down. I think that What has the Symmetra locked down. Chisato I'm losing their name. Chisato v Phone right now. They're kind of trading back and forth between who is actually the more dominant. I think that Aramori's windows have been much better placed, much better timed. Yeah. We saw 2 complete devaluations of the Amp Matrix coming out from Claire. So, I mean, you've got the tools are all the same. It's just how they're deploying them right now. I think that's the big difference between these 2 teams right now, is that the Valiant, they know when to press the go button, and it's full send. At that point, when they commit that Q, it's full send, and they're getting the massive value on the back of it.
It's like the Valiant are driving the bus here, whereas the Vancouver Titans, they're shoved in the trunk, they're shoved in the back. There's nothing that they can do except for like just try to hold on to each other and hope the bus doesn't eventually crash and take them off a cliff. And Valiant Guardians, they've been in control of this series from basically the start at this point. As soon as they switched over to that Orisa, things started to look up for them. The fact that they're forcing the swap, I mean, you said it yourself, Billy. That is just a signal that Vancouver Titans, like those red lights, they're blaring right now. This is last chance for them to come up. They've been doing so gosh darn well, keeping up with Valiant Guardians. We knew this was going to be a tough match for them. They're taking it to the limits, and with this little pause, it does come a little bit of extra time for them to discuss their strategy, get things back in order for some of these final fights to take place. And we'll see you and these final matches right after this. Oh my goodness, what a surprise it is to be back. Fresh off the pause, DCs have come back. So Valiant Guardians are going to be taking the first control of this point after that early fight they forced VTB to take.
I mean, they pulled out the rally as well from Saffrona. So Saffrona getting bested by Halo in that department. The later rally holding them up through the mid-fight. They're going to get this capture point. Now you're looking at artillery strike ready to go here for Phone. It was a little bit of a disconnect here, but the window comes out from Aramori.
Ooh, early window here. That's gonna work out. It's at a strange angle though. I mean, most of that is just looking at a wall, and as much as I'd love to paint a picture, it's not gonna give you that much value in the long run. Thankfully, the Valiant Guardians don't need it. I mean, Spinor just cannot move at all on this Orisa.
What a smart usage though. I mean, they at the end, you do see the assist come through from Moving Fish taking Spinor down, and Moving Fish, because of that window, now it gets tied up with Spinor in the Terror Surge department. So I don't know if they're going to necessarily be expecting a Terror Surge this early from Moving Fish. I think the real kicker for this fight is who can get to rally first. Saffrona 20% ahead.
Saffrona has the early lead, but if we know anything about what Halo's been able to do on this brig, is that she builds these up like she's running a marathon out here. I mean, there's totally potential for that to be lapped, and it's going to depend on how Vancouver Titans decide to take this fight. Can they stay on top of it? The answer is no, Chisato! Artillery strike once again. We've mentioned the one-on-one. Chisato wants to be the one sitting ahead in the Bastion duel, but with 99%, Vancouver Titans Blue have to come out on top. They're going to get the point, but look at all these players. They're still lurking around. Valiant Guardians, they get clear out from under them. That is a devastating blow to the Vancouver Titans Blue success. It's all up to that rally. Saffrona managed to build it up first. Can it be enough to sustain their team? No, she goes down. The rest soon to follow. Valiant Guardians played their time, played all of their cards just to lay out pocket aces at the last second. 99% will tick to 100, and Valiant Guardians going to get the reverse sweep.
And they do, and they take this first round robin match 2-1. I mean, if this is anything about what we're going to see here in the Kunoichi Kerfuffle, we're going to be flamboozled and bamboozled and hog swallowed and everything else. I mean, this is going to be a knockdown drag out tournament. Chisato with the 3K coming up here, getting the work done up against Phone. Wow, this is this is everything that I wanted. This is everything that I wanted in our opening match. We got the full 3 maps in, teams battling it out like crazed gladiators in the middle of an arena. This is what we live for. This is what we live for. And it's such a safe space for all of our gamers here. Oh my God, I'm so happy right now I can squeal.
You and me both, Billy. I mean, honestly, I expected big things from this match. You did as well. I would say, I don't know about you, but this surpassed my expectations so much. I mean, these two teams are some of the best that you have in the marginalized genders tournaments, and they were close. They were gosh dang close, down to the last second, and this is only round number 1. This isn't even the bracket stage. This is a I wouldn't say pointless match, but it has so little value when it comes to the long run of the remainder of this tournament. If these matches are going to be this close at the top level, I mean, what do we have to expect later down the line? I mean, I'm so excited to get further into this game.
I would just like some lessons from anybody from these teams. Like, hey, can you please teach me to play better, please? Because I need the help, honestly.
Billy out of bronze, people.
Oh gosh, we don't mention that on stream, Tiny. We don't mention that on stream. Seriously though, these gamers putting it all out there, and you know, this is just another wonderful example of how we can build our communities and make safer places for all of us gamers. But that's gonna do it for game number 1. So, Valiant Guardians 2-1 winners over the Vancouver Titans Blue. They get their revenge. The chip is off their shoulder now. They get up to 1-0 here in our group. And then we'll be coming up on our next match in just a few minutes. We're going to get it set up. Don't go away. Match number 2 is coming up right after this break.
Welcome back to the second round of the round robin matchups of the Kunoichi Kerfuffle. We had an exciting round number 1 matchup going all the way to 3 maps and potentially more, but only a best of 3. So our next one as well. We got 2 more teams coming to take it, battle it out, and we've looked at these squads. A lot of the teams that we're seeing in NA, the rosters that are on there, the amount of talent. I mean, these matches they're so close.
I mean, this is exactly what we paid to get to see here. And, well, I didn't pay anything, but Barcode is one of my favorite people in the entire scene. Such a genuinely awesome person. Did a little bit of casting for Ski SD back in the day. And you mentioned on Twitter you get your weekly SK bill. So, yeah, I mean, this team is absolutely stacked. And we'll see how Kunoichi deals with their first round opponent. It's gonna be Hour Zero, Debit Island, Bun, Sniper, KQA, and Venus with Bird the Dish also rounding out the roster there. This is gonna be fun. Sniper is one of my favorite tanks as well. So I mean, there's lots of friends here. There's lots of people that I look up to, and Nepal is gonna be our first map here, Tiny. And well, We'll see. Do we have another Zarya matchup going in, or we can see a lot of Orisa?
Things have just been flying by here. The answer is neither for Trumu or aka Sniper for Hour Zero Debit Island. Sigma, not something I think was on anybody's bingo cards today. The only map I could see you running it here on Sanctum. Great, go ahead, pull it out, you have range, but the second Eevee decides that she is safe to push on up and walk on your team, or just teleport to the back line and take him out that way, that is going to be the end of Zero Hour's plans on the poke comp.
I mean, this is why you run the Sigma, though, because you do have the ability to negate the Bastion damage coming in, and I think that's exactly why you run this. So, I mean, they still did not take the point, but picking up kills left and right. Emily out and gone. This would be Zero Island, or Zero, taking over and taking the first point. Lots of good work there from both teams. The rotations are clean. Kunoichi just got a little bit overwhelmed. The teleport strike was just a little bit too telegraphed coming in. I mean, look at Sniper there. Almost Sigma, almost has Gravitic Flux ready already.
I mean, that's just pretty insane for the amount that Sniper's been doing. I mean, if you have to try to keep a distance from Eevee, this rush comp could be a very big issue. I mean, there's no speed for Kunoichi's CGL right now, and, they're starting to suffer because of it. You need to get on top of these players, but Eevee just can't do it in the amount of time that's allotted. Player's just going to be brought up to the sky, smacks back down, and just like that, we're back to ground zero, or Hour Zero, if you really want to put it that way, where is Kunoichi CGL, they're remaining corralled in this back corner, vulnerable to the poke that is being pumped out from the Snipers. Wow. SK does manage to grab Fred the Fish, though, so that is a big thing. A lot less pressure off their shoulders, but Eevee topples over into a pile of a scrap meta. Who would expect this to happen? The damage output on both sides is insane, but in the end, Kunoichi CGL finally get the close fight they want and the point.
I mean, Fred the Fish right now has swapped over to the Soldier 76, so we do have a little bit more sustained damage. You also have a little bit of spot healing with the Biotic Field. However, Trumu has been getting some work done with the kinetic grasp, and you're seeing it every time that the Bastion goes into turret form. They're saving that cooldown for that. The E going into that ability has been timed perfectly from Sniper. So that's where I'm looking at, is how do they negate the Bastion once again?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing, getting this cooldown out, zoning it. You have the cooldown, that does get a lot of resources out of Trumu, and has to back off. Even if you end up getting the point, you don't play that face-to-face and take the couple of percentage spots that you can get and hold on to it longer just with the stall. But ooh, the Transcendence coming in the nick of time. KQA giving more resources for Hour Zero to continue the fight. Essentially, resetting the health bars here, which is not going to pay well for Eevee, who's been hanging on to end limit. The resurrection is going to be a little bit more helpful, but with where the fight currently stands, Billy, I need to see them reset.
I mean, the limit testing there by Sniper was absolutely perfect. Was knowing exactly when they could touch in, touch out. They keep possession of the point. Now it's final fight territory, and you've got 2 ultimates ready to go here for Hour Zero.
I mean, Hour Zero, this is their fight to lose at this point. I mean, Trumu pulling out the Gravitic Flux. I don't even think that has to catch on to anything, but Emily, how did that happen? Venus going down, that is a big win for Kunoichi CGL that they needed, but with Edie falling as much as she had, Billy, how long can you really afford to sustain yourselves with Sniper pushing and pushing against Emily and Barcode rallied up into this corner?
I mean, look at this. Once again, Kinetic Grass is ready to go. Truman taking down Emily. That is the matchup that is ending all the matches right now. Sniper's getting everything done right now. Holy cow.
Did not expect that on the Sigma at all, and they're really making that pickoff work. Is it going to work in other maps? Probably not, but the fact that Hour Zero came out with a mission, with a game plan in play, executed it to the max, that is all you need to have.
All right, Fred. I see your stoic stance there. Giving the heroic pose. I see you flexing the muscles there. I mean, that was all about Sniper. A true move. Getting it done on the Sigma, negating the damage coming in from Emily on the Bastion. I mean, when you are able to rotate your cooldowns like that, the Rock was perfect coming through. The Kinetic Grasp was absolutely masterful. You saw the 300 overshielding coming in every time they let loose with that ability. So, I mean, just the micro play there. Going into the Bastion, I mean, Sigma is a great counter as long as you know how to rotate those cooldowns. But now we're seeing a different setup here. We're looking at Sniper going over to the Junker Queen.
It's a different look, but I mean, Sniper is very familiar with this hero. I'm not too concerned about it. The main difference here is the play style. You are aggressive. You are the definition of we walk forwards, unbind, the S key. And that's what's going to keep Kunoichi CGL crowded up in this corner. There is still no Lucio on their side at all, so they have to teleport out. That is their only time of mobility. Whereas Hour Zero, they have both the commanding shout and that speed that KQA can use at any point in time to keep them involved. And, you know, the tables really did end up turning here with that teleporter. Kunoichi CGL got the high ground and KQA out of the picture. And even if Devon Island have control of the objective, it's not going to last long.
It probably won't. I mean, unless we see an exit pick here, I mean, I think they should be able to kind of play around here, dance on the point, get as much progression as they can. Well, they go ahead and give it up. But, I mean, they keep their lives, and we'll see how they run with this. That's a dangerous place to teleport into, but nah! Emily says, nay, I got you, fam.
Emily has been working for Kunoichi CGL easily. The biggest damage dealer, and Fred the Fish did not expect that one to come into their sight lines. It was like Emily knew that is exactly where that they would be located. And I mean, Kunoichi CGL, they have the high grounds under lock, Billy.
And they have no damage mitigation. That's the other problem with Hour Zero right now is that there's no mitigation here against this Bastion. Other than to deflect, you have Blade ready to go. So this could actually be an early ultimate coming out.
I think it's going to be zoning. I mean, there's so many small areas that you can play in that Emily's going to make sure you don't bum hanging on for dear life there. As the support to keep alive through those artillery shells. And I mean, even now, the approach coming in, you have the Ant Matrix to just chill behind, and that's just more zoning, more time gained. And Devon Island, they got to make something happen, but they peek the window too soon. Fred the Fish and Venus will get punished for that mistake, and Kunoichi CGL, they're reigning true.
I mean, Valkyrie already out, so I mean, the boost there coming with that. I mean, maybe a little expensive there from Kunoichi, but they get the work done. And they'll have they'll have the photon barrier coming up very closely for the team. SK did have a nice window there. Yeah, Hour Zero does peek it a little bit too much. You see Fred the Fish going over to the Soldier. Bun is now showing us a little bit more in the respect with the Sojourn. So need to be able to lock down the point.
You need to get to the objective here, and now that Devon Island finally have a chance to, you need a win condition. You need something to help pull you through, and you have a lot of ultimates to do it, but with Fred the Fish going down, you need to take it 4v5, which is certainly less than ideal for a situation such as this. The Ant Matrix is going to help get the players off the objective from Kunoichi, and they got a whole giant shield just to sit behind, continue the poke out, and they got a touch. You're right, Billy. We've seen enough C9s today. Please stay on the objective. That is all that we ask you. It keeps getting lower and lower, but that is A-okay. You have the players on the surrounding. Costs a lot of resources, but Devon Island finally on the point.
It takes 3 ultimates to clear the point.
Yeah.
I mean, Bun is just getting outplayed right now, to be quite honest. I mean, up against this Bastion from Emily, she's getting the work done, and the teleport strats have really thrown a cog into what Hour Zero was able to do on Sanctum. So I mean, that's the outlier of these maps here in Nepal. So now we need to see what they have coming out here. They do have the overclock ready to go.
Overclock up in the lines, and Bun needs to make use of it, but gets bombarded. The teleporter right on top of her. That's such a difficult situation to come back from, and thankfully KQA lands a final blow onto the main support for Kunoichi CGL. They're all gonna crumble like a pile of dominoes as a result, and it could have been a devastating situation. Turned out okay.
I mean, Fred the Fish gets a lot of work done there. Gets 3 kills into that fight, and Bun, you know, while they did let loose that overclock, I think just the presence of that ultimate really did force a lot out from Kunoichi. So, Kunoichi, you know, they're still final fight territory, but they're running into an amp matrix very close, and then the attack visor from Fred. This could actually be the fight that gets them the first point.
It has to be. I mean, Kunoichi CGL were essentially given the objective for free, and all they need to do, deny the touch completely. Whoa! That got down to the final sliver that was left before Bun hits the shot. The Amp Matrix gonna deny a lot of that space, keeping it somewhat even with the resurrection coming in. Evie's starting to stabilize, but she doesn't have any health. Could continue the raid. Emily, on the other hand, certainly does. And the damage to pack a punch make Kunoichi CGL come back on top. It's only Scanty versus Venus in the final fight with the Matrix. Venus easily coming back on top. It's one player holding it down for the whole team. SK puts them on the objective. That is one way for that to end, Billy.
1-1.
It's not a C9.
It's not.
Okay?
It's not.
It's not a C9. It's a forced removal from the point. I mean, Hour Zero, they need to be thinking about possibly going to a Symmetra strat of their own, because getting on the point, getting those turrets set up, getting your microwave beam going to level 3. Bun's gonna show us they're gonna show us the Torbjorn here. That could work. Getting a high-powered Zarya, that could work as well. We'll see how Sniper deals with this. They need to touch the point first.
Capture the objective.
Sniper's playing tank roulette right now. I'm here for it. Sniper is a very flexible player, and they're using the speed to their advantage with both the teleporter and the speed boost, which Kunoichi CGL still do not have, which if you're gonna run the Mercy, that is okay. You have the power of the resurrections, but that speed is something that is gonna really hurt if you don't have that later on. The teleporters need to be used to their maximum potential to start to even that loss that you're really facing, that disadvantage you're putting yourself at. And with what Emily's been able to do on the Bastion, it hasn't been nearly as much of an issue as it usually could be, because she's just sitting pretty with a Mercy pocket on the high ground.
Yep, I mean, that's exactly what they needed. I mean, they pull out all the resources from Hour Zero. That'll be the first point being taken over here by Kunoichi. And I mean, after Sanctum, which is pretty dominant, tank roulette's not working out here for Sniper, and I think that the Sigma would be a better option here. You've got the mitigation. Once again, that's the big lacking thing here that I'm seeing from Hour Zero, is that they don't have any kind of mitigation.
No, and relying so much on these bubbles, which are easily they're gonna fall apart with Emily and Barcode on their respective heroes. So what are you really trying to gain from this? Are you sure you can have charge and do damage, but even the players you do manage to find in your grasp, they can teleport away. They're such high mobility that you're not going to gain the same amount of value here. And with Kunoichi CGL being in control, especially that Amp Matrix right now, and Billy, where's Zero, like, where is Devon Island looking to be their win condition? I am genuinely confused where that is, and they're just struggling to make themselves hit a mark. I mean, Venus gets one, but Emily is still a problem that is yet to be dealt with, yet to be respected at all. Keeping things close and getting Kunoichi CGL even closer to having the chance. I mean, they didn't commit the sound barrier just to close this one out.
I mean, they're gonna have grab, and I mean, fortunately, they don't have to burn it. So I mean, you've got some mitigation tools here. You know, the window being the most important right now for them, being able to just, you know, walk down the point and see what they can get done with it. But I mean, once Barcode gets Emily into position, you've got 2 bubbles, and you'll get a max of 80 charge out of it, and then you're waiting for the next cooldown to come through. So I mean, this is gonna have to be very well portioned for them coming through.
You need to have a plan coming in, otherwise Bun is gonna slash it all to pieces, and starting with SK still back up, looking forward to deny the res. Fred the Fish gonna get the job done, and that is an efficient use of the Dragon Blade, giving those resources to Bun, who's finally starting to play the game.
I mean, and only one ultimate in that fight, so we've got 3 others to cycle through here. I think that you honestly put out the overclock. It's a lot. It's a lot more efficacious going into this fight, especially when you find the teleport. You hear the strat come through, you lock it down, you take care of Emily, and then you're out of it.
It needs to be cut and dry as it sounds, and I mean, Fred the Fish popped that ultimate so early, but SK, the boop! The boop, she followed the teleporter, nobody else did, and Nick, you ain't getting the punish on it. I mean, you can't lose your main support that early. You can, but Eevee, what? Gets the tank out of all people? That also should not be happening on my game, people. Knock it off. I mean, Bun is doing enough. Bun is doing enough to keep themselves in this, but there were so many blaring red flags in this that Bun had to pop off to make it clean.
Wow, okay, Fred. Fred decided that Sojourn is actually the better choice here, and they actually are at 90% in counting. They still have the grab. They can actually lock the grab up as long as it doesn't get negated by the javelin spin.
Can they even didn't need a chance to use the grab, though? Ideally, you want to keep them off the point, but True Move waiting on that cooldown to come up. Find the right moment to catch all the players, because all you need is a good graviton storage here. Lock out one, get the elimination, and that objective is as good as yours. The map might as well be as good as yours. Our zero debit island played the long game here, Billy. Bun stepped into her roots as the Genji player, and that is going to be a 0-hour first map win.
Boy, okay, so we got another Bowen burner here,
boy.
Tiny, as, I mean, these teams go the distance on all the maps here, other than Sanctum, which was really one-way traffic. I mean, True Move, Sniper, you love them. You love to see them. You love to see what they got in the wheelhouse, and my word, they have gotten the work done, so we'll see what map pick is going to come out of Kunoichi CGL here on our hybrid map. I mean, what do you do? I mean, Bun has the kitchen sink. Sniper has the kitchen sink. Fred has the hit scans on lock. Really, I mean, see what Skiesti did on the Mercy. And people said I've been a Mercy hater for years. I'm not a Mercy hater. I think that there's a time and a place for it. Seeing what Skiesti was able to do in the face of all that damage coming in and being able to stay not only alive, but also get insane reses once again coming through. I mean, God bless it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. And we're seeing it on display here. Massive kudos to Skiesti. So we'll see. Is it a map now that we go to where we can see the supports here for Kunoichi be able to shine and really elevate their team into a map win?
Just to be clear, too, is that Kunoichi CGL supports, they're not bad. They're actually some of the best that we have out here. Their hero selection is interesting for the given comp that they're attempting to run, and while it gives you advantages in certain areas, there are also significant hindrances. Like I mentioned, with not having the speed, trying to rush in with an Orisa, you need to be perfect with the teleporters. You need to use that little bit of mobility you have to the max, which worked out for you on Village, you just couldn't get it done on this third and final map of Shrine. So, I mean, moving forward, especially into this hybrid area where we tend to see on the maps that are in the pool, at least, we tend to see more of like this brawl kind of in your face gameplay style. If you're going to stick with the Mercy, if you're going to stick with the Baptiste, I don't have a problem with it, but I also need to see them play into those other pieces of their composition that make them successful in order to compensate for that change.
Yep, and I mean we'll see what the decision is here. I mean, they've got to figure out how they're going to be able to maximize their support line. How do you make Emily's and Barcode's life easier?
Yeah,
which is hard to do when Bun is going absolutely nasty, and you're seeing Sniper have their way with the roulette there. I mean, so we'll see. It's going to be King's Row up as our next map. So I mean, there are options here for a Mercy to get work done. The damage boost alone and the ability to res when you're defending, obviously, going to be key. But we'll see. We'll see how they actually work this, and we'll see what is going to be the choice of Hour Zero, as far as what are they going to do, are they going to come out defending or are they going to come out on the attack?
It's up to them, and I'm curious to see which way they end up going. Hour Zero, I don't want to say the same thing, is they have a bunch of different compositions under their belt and played them to a decently high level as well. Depending on what they decide to pull out here, they really have the potential to set the pace here, especially because Kunoichi CGL, they were struggling to make a large impact on the game with their composition without some crazy play from Emily or Evie getting into the backline. I mean, there was a big difference here that we've seen is the support that Sniper is getting versus the support that Evie is getting. Evie dies first a lot more often because, well, one, the Mercy is often pocketing DPS. You only have the Baptiste to keep the tank up, and when Evie is aggressive as she is, there's simply not enough healing to go around for her at all. And in a map in the nature of King's Row, that's something that if you get punished for it, it's seriously going to hurt your chances of coming back in the long run.
Exactly, and I think that's where I think there's a time and a place to play every hero, and you know, there's also a time and place to have that in-game communication where you're like, okay, I need a little bit more, I need a little bit more here. Now Baptiste can pump out the heals, so I mean, and you have the immortality field that, you know, when you do see Evie get super aggressive, you have that kind of stopgap measure. To be able to kind of stop the bleeding, as it were, for a second, and you know, focus down the heals. So I mean, I think that, you know, if you rotate your cooldowns properly, you get that secondary healer in there to help out. I think that we get, you know, I think we get a little bit more stabilization for Evie, but still, I mean, they didn't deal with Emily nearly as much as I thought they were going to be able to with the composition that was being ran against them. So that just shows what Barcode and Emily are doing as a DPS duo right now. The fact that it was that close really does, you know, put a couple of warning stickers up for this Hour Zero team. So we'll see how they deal with it here in the streets of London.
This is going to be quite the matchup to come through. I'm genuinely curious to what sort of composition these teams are going to pull out. And I have a feeling Evie's going to stick more with that Orisa from what we've seen so far. It's a hero that she's pretty comfortable on and can be relatively successful when she has the proper support. In terms of the other side, though, I feel like Sniper has a lot more options between the Orisa, the Zarya, even the Junker Queen coming out at some point. So a lot of it is going to start with the tanks and stem off into the DPS and the supports as they end up selecting here. And, you know, Billy, when you think this match, you want to think you're traditional. Oh, I'm going to play Reinhardt. I'm going to brawl this one out. I really hope nobody does that today because that's just not going to be any fun for anybody who decides to play a Reinhardt, especially in Emily's Bastion.
Well, we'll see how it actually goes out, because you could actually go in with the Sigma here if they decide to. I mean, Sigma could be a lot of fun here. I'm just saying.
Sigma's always fun.
Sigma's always fun. But we'll see. Kunoichi is actually going to be defending here, so Hour Zero want to set the benchmark here for what could be potentially their 2-0 victory here up against Kunoichi CGL. We are in the round robins, reminding everybody this is the opening day of the Kerfuffle. We had EU earlier, some damn good matches there. Now we are getting our fill here in the North American side. 3 groups battling it out in the round robins as we speak. And tomorrow we'll start our bracket play.
Yep, this comes actually out. So to mention our bracket, 12 teams, double elimination bracket. I had to literally Google a picture of this because I'm like, I don't even know what the heck that looks like. Basically, it is going to be the top 4 teams that are going to essentially get a bye the first round. So you want to be in those top 4 within your group. So there's 3 groups, and then seeded after that is where we'll find that 4th team. Yes, it is going to look a little messy, but once those are seeded out, having a total bye round, especially in a double elim here, Billy, is going to be so big for whoever wins this. And especially when you look at the names on these teams, the expectations that they have, the pressure to perform. I mean, you want that spot, and you want it so gosh dang bad. Now, we mentioned a lot of things coming to this map, but just composition we can see. What Hour Zero is pulling out, not what I expected.
No, I mean, it's immediate pressure on the Bastion to be able to deal the damage necessary and, you know, get the work done. And I mean, with a flyer, with a pocket, this is going to be a very hard for them to get around.
No, there's no counter to Fred the Fish at all right now. I mean, look how much Kunoichi CGL, they're literally stuffed back into the corner with no way out. As Fred the Fish is continuing to apply the pressure, not to mention Bun chucking in the nades from the other end, and you're trapped. You're sitting ducks. Kunoichi CGL inevitably are going to fall over with the insane amount of damage. The disruption Trumu adds to the picture, similar how we just saw in the previous game with Snyder's Wrecking Ball. Trumu is accomplishing the exact same task and getting hour zero a significant start.
Well, I mean, it's just compositionally different. I mean, there's so many different areas of spam that's coming out. Mirage, almost online for Fred. I mean, other than the spin and then the turret form, yeah, Barcode actually going over to the Ash here, so you have a better option here for your DPS. You got that hit scan with the aim down side. Obviously, it's still 195 per hit. So, I mean, Farah is going to be under some duress now. This is actually great amount of quick changes coming through, but the tire early to start this fight.
All you need is one pick right now. If you can try to get around that immortality field, then you get the pick. But SK, look at the timing on that. I mean, that was perfect picture. Perfect frame, perfect as a matter of fact. And Bun thought you could sneak it around, but SK is simply too darn good. Like, Fred the Fish, I love that. Oh, man. You can't make all of them land, and Kunoichi CGL working with what they've got, and it's certainly something to be able to come back with, and Evie easily can hold down this choke point. This is an important fight for the defense to win, and on the track that they're going, it's entirely possible. Sniper has been off in the backline trying to accomplish their own mission. Meanwhile, the rest of their team has fallen over.
How is Edie still alive? How is Edie still alive?
That is a great question.
Okay, I mean, there wasn't a support in sight, and I mean, they somehow kept themselves up. I think they got a mini pack, and well, that's great. There's the power of the Ash right there, by the way, dealing with it, and you're seeing the swaps come through right now. 4 hours 0, they're swapping up their comp. Trumu, I don't know if the doofus is gonna work here, my friend. I don't know if it's gonna work here.
I mean, it was a good start and thought, but you don't have the angles to work with. You're running straight into the anchor down battle cattle. It's not gonna work. You're absolutely correct. And switch off it now rather than later. I mean, I kind of understand the point. I mean, it makes Barcode commit a whole bomb just to run over Sniper, who, mind you, lived past all of that. And now there's just a bomb chilling in the library trying to read, but this is too happy that he can't find anything to shoot, so he's gonna dip. Find another place to go ahead and check out, find some enemies, whereas Kunoichi CGL aren't having a problem with that whatsoever. Trumu working their way into the back line and had to bail out with their ultimate, and this Doomfist is slowing their game down so much. It has to be the DPS to come up with Fred the Fish happily to deliver. Has had enough with playing around this bookstore. The overclock in play, grabs a second off the top, make it a third. Why not? I mean, Fred the Fish just popping off.
I'd like to see Trumu swap here, even though they do get the kill on Emily with the empowered block and then the resulting slam after that. So, I mean, you get the work done. Blade coming up here, both support ultimates ready to go for hour 0. This should be a relatively clean fight for them to come through. They just got to weather the artillery strike and the terror surge coming through, but they have a sound barrier.
You have the ultimates to kind of negate a lot of what Kunoichi CGL could throw at you. I mean, EP still wants to get the touch in, and understandably, you still get Bud, the player that could arguably easily dodge that. All right, you take those. Now that warrants all of the util you have left. Hour 0, you need to get a reset. Don't commit anything else into this fight. Give yourself the best chance of winning.
That's what they're going to do. I mean, they're kind of staging up here on the high ground. Trying to force anything out from Kunoichi, but I mean, the larder is gone, it's empty, and you get to hold on to your sound barrier as well.
You have so many tools that you're able to hold on to right now, and that is big for the attackers, and this little last hump that you have to push over to reach the foundry is often the most challenging point in King's Row because the spawns are so far away. When Sniper just deletes SK, oh yeah, that's as good as done. You might not even need all of those ultimates to push on through, and it's gonna be big to save for those next couple of fights that you have at your asks, Billy. Like, just imagine the ult economy from here on out.
I mean, you're gonna have 5 ultimates. I'm sorry, 4 ultimates coming into this. I thought that was 78, not 18%. But I mean, yeah, Bob will be the biggest tool here for Kunoichi to slow down the progress, as it's 2:30 on the clock as we enter the foundry. but it's going to be about positioning. KQA right now is going to be, I think, the biggest linchpin right now is getting members into position and being able to dispossess people.
Able to get in, start to make that work, and hey, the Bob Art finally does something. Found Bob, but why do we keep putting Bob in corners? Like, what's with that? Is like Bob just in timeout today? I don't understand, Barca, but clearly she knows something that I don't with the amount of success that she's been able to have on the Ashe so far. But you need to get the Doomfist off of your back so you can actually stop this payload and get yourselves in a reasonable position to fight this one out, because ours they have complete control of the high ground, and especially with Bun on the Widowmaker, I'd be scared.
Yeah, you got to it before I did, and I mean, Fred the Fish, that's the priority pick right there, and oh my god, the kills are coming in.
Everything pouring in from above him. Kunoichi CGL had a tiny bit of time to try to displace the players on the heights. Weren't able to make it happen. Hour Zero easily positioning both of their hit scans up there. There's no chance for them to come back out.
That's just brutal. That's just brutal.
Brutal.
And, I mean, the kills are going to keep right through. They're going to start. Yeah, they're going to start the spawn camp as well. They're going to get this time in with over a minute on the clock.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they needed.
They're going to get it in. At least they hope. The goal right now for CGL is to start stalling this out at least for the next 8 seconds. That's something to work with, even if you don't win the fight. But they're starting to come up with picks. Barcode switch to the Widowmaker of their own, to the DPS duo. We're keeping it alive for them, Billy. Hour Zero, they thought they had it under wraps. The Kunoichi CGL had one more trick up their sleeve.
I mean, this was exactly perfect. I mean, they take off the, 25 seconds from the time that they should have been done, and now Skiesti getting a kill with the Glockster coming out, taking Trumu out. Oh, that's ultimate disrespect, and you love to see it.
Oh, you absolutely do. Hour Zero, now they need to try to finish the map, but the fish, was that off the map? Is that what just happened? Surely not.
I think so.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts bad. The fish can't swim into thin air. That's not exactly how physics work, but uh-oh, that trade. Bun landed the shot, the one that is going to count for the entire future here at Kunoichi CGL. They're starting to tremble in their boots. You have to back up, forfeit some of this space, get SK back so you have a chance at some sort of sustain, because Emily and Evie are struggling to stay alive. Skiesti dodging and weaving her way through everything that's on the payload, and the only advantage you have going into this is maybe Fred the Fish being on an off angle. Can they take them out? No! The Ant Matrix only denying a small portion of the sightlines, but nobody is able to use it. Bun, Venus, and the rest of Hour Zero have all of the ultimates. This is their fight to win, Billy. They need to come out on top and do it quickly, because once those spawns come in, it's going to be a problem. Barcode not allowed to be the hero this time around, as an overtime completion. It's what Hour Zero is going to settle for.
But still, they got it into overtime. I mean, this could have potentially been 75 seconds on the clock. In the time bank, done and dusted. And, well, Kunoichi, I mean, with some beautiful play from both Emily and Barcode, salvaging the remainder of the time and getting it into overtime. So this is I mean, if you're Kunoichi, you've got to count that as a win. And we'll see what Hour Zero decides to do here. Tank-wise, I think that's what's going to really dictate how this map is going to go, is what does Trumu bring out of the tank roulette bingo card today, and we'll see if they bring something a little bit more stable, a little bit more practical, rather than the Doomfist. I mean, there's some good plays. I'm not going to deny that, but I think that a little bit more practicality here in the tank part was probably what Hour Zero needs to do.
I mean, they're sticking on the Doomfist. I don't hate it, but I wonder how well this is actually going to work out on the attack, because this problem that I'm going to see come to light here is Bun on the Junkrat too. Yes, it is a lot of concentrated damage in an area, but a lot of these heroes can be collapsed upon easily if Sniper isn't putting in some serious work here.
It's all going to be about the empowered punch, or the power block that builds up that empowered punch. And, you know, it's going to be up to Emily to really focus down the Doomfist. That's really where we're going to see the majority of this work come out from.
Emily was doing great on the Bastion so far, and it ended up working out. The issue was the tank. You know what? You put Barcode on the Sombra. I like that adjustment. That's going to make Sniper's job a lot harder. I mean, the hack already coming in. That health bar just drained fell over. There was no chance. No chance the Doomfist is going to live. And if that isn't a sign to start switching off, I don't really know what is. But, I mean, Bunt still hitting shots. The classic Junkrat RNG pop shots from across the map. All right, you take those, but you still don't have a tank. Any stability to realistically fight Kunoichi on.
Well, I mean, Bun does go down, so that is actually a massive kill there. It looks like Sniper's going to stick with the Doomfist, so yeah, I mean, we'll see how this goes.
It's truly it is a wait and see because we don't know how this is going to go. It's such a strange composition that is being pulled out right now, and the swaps have been made. Kunoichi CGL even moving to the Echo of their own, and a Sombra from Bun. Wow, we're just playing complete and total mystery heroes out here to see which team lands on the correct composition, and EV seems to be rolling 20s all around. Grabbed two, still looking for more. Those defensive spawns light years away. The attackers looking to make a mark.
No, wait, did he get the, he got the Mega? Oh, he does go down there.
Oh, nope, that's it. That is point Kunoichi CGL. Wow, that was a weird fight, but all right. You swapped it up. Third time's the charm for Barcode on the Echo, and 5 minutes to work with in the streets phase.
I mean, the memes are real right now. I mean, this is a complete troll comp coming from Hour Zero. So let's be completely honest. I mean, the supports are good. Fred the Fish is good. Bun even, I can live with the Sombra. I love Sombra, BT dubs, but this True Move Doomfist is not working right now.
No, it's just not the play. What do you gain from it? Maybe some disruption? But you're focused down so easily. You're less powerful than a Wrecking Ball here because you just don't have the mobility and that hero does. You're so reliant on cooldowns, and once those are out, you can't do much, especially into a Bastion or the Echo that you're putting at. I mean, you have to play so defensive, which means the rest of your team is going to get stomped and walked on. As a result, I mean, Bun finally up to an EMP, and you just don't want to use that in this scenario. Sniper ends up going down, and the rest of the team seriously needs to regroup and figure out what the plan is.
I mean, this is going to be a .2 completion,
Yeah.
easily. Well, there we go.
All
We got
right.
swaps.
Makes me feel better, and the early EMP too. Down goes Emily and Evie. The duplicate damage plus the extra from the EMP, easily taking out a couple of players. So they are going to hold on to the second point after all, but it took a lot to get there.
Well, the fact that we've got Dupe ready to go for Barcode, as well as your Terra Surge and Matrix, yeah, they're going to push forward. They're going to make life hell for Kunoichi here.
Is it that hard though? Because Kunoichi CGL easily the ultimate advantage. It is an early duplicate though. Everyone's so far out of range of Barcode that she can't really hit any shots, do the damage, and with 5 seconds remaining, this duplicate ultimate ends up going down to waste, and not a good start for this fight that she wanted. This is one that Kunoichi CGL heavily favored towards the Ant Matrix, plus a Javelin equals a winning combo. I guess that's something you can add on top of it, but I mean, Hour Zero, they're still hanging out. They have the Soundberry in play for re-engage, but down goes True Move before the ultimate hits the ground. That one's gonna hurt. You're gonna feel it in the morning. And Evie, a little bit more of a Terra Surge on top to make sure this 4 minutes and 12 seconds is truly realized.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I mean, get your Grav, then go Sigma. Easy. Easy.
Easy.
I mean,
think it's easy.
damage mitigation. That's the name of the game here. We saw the problem happen during Nepal, where there was a lack of mitigation, and now you've got the artillery strike coming in. This is bad juju.
Certainly is, but everyone is able to be just fine with it. I mean, Hour Zero, they're on double sniper once again. I mean, they'd love to play this poke composition. We haven't really seen a Bastion at all yet. They like to play close, but Trubu is able to just vibe on the low grounds and just weather the entire storm you have coming in. Venus chilling up top gives these snipers the ability to work. As split as this composition is and as tricky as it can be to call off, this Graviton Surge, you should make it happen, but Trubu is out. The amplification matrix had to be shut down from downtown to keep the tank alive, and without the Graviton Surge gaining any value here, Kunoichi CGL still in this fight. Bun and Fred the Fish need to come up. Nice pick onto Emily for something to work with, and this is looking very dicey. There's no team that has a solid footing, but Hour Zero certainly looking more shaky.
I mean, we're looking for Dupe coming up here from Barcode. Barcode will probably take out the Bob. I mean, take out the Ash. Oh my God!
Bobbert.
Wow,
Just not having a good
Evie!
time. I mean, Evie, Miyagi took care of the Bob, said, no, you get to stay in timeouts. In fact, you get to fall endlessly, and endlessly it doesn't win the team the fight, but still very cool to watch.
Well, I mean, you get the work done. You got double snipers. You got sights ready to go. Double support ultimates coming up. True Moon not too far away from grab, so you're starting to burn the time away. SK, I like this swap over to the Ana. It's going to pull out so much from Hour Zero if they land any kind of a decent nade coming in. Also, the Nano going in on top of the Terra Surging. Orisa could be dirty.
I mean, you have so much potential for this utility here, but Eevee goes down the Ant Matrix, catching her completely by surprise, and suddenly there's no tank to work with. Kunoichi CGL, that was a confident push from them. You can feel it, Billy, and they just all fell apart under the pressure of Venus.
I mean, that's 30 seconds off the clock now. We're at 1:45 and counting. Double support. Or we got 2 ultimates ready to go here for Hour Zero. I think the big one is going to be Sound Barrier. Eevee over to the Ramatra. Have not seen that character for quite a minute.
No, not at all. Is this really gonna work, Billy? What are your... I don't know about this one, to be totally honest with you. You have a little bit of shield to work with. I mean, maybe you can add more pressure to the Zarya. You can stay up longer, but Ramatra can simply get shredded, especially with the range you're playing at. I mean, Trumu just gonna walk on the backline. She's not afraid of the Zarya whatsoever. This is easily a workshop being put on by Sniper, making not even cracking a sweat with all the work that they put in, and then Nano was invested too. This is Kunoichi CGL are struggling on this final point.
I mean, this is just, confident changes coming through. Eevee is going to be able to actually sustain through this with the block. And I think the reason why you run with this right now with the Ramatra is that you do have the Ravishing Vortex, which can slow people down. And you can kind of focus in on the back of that. We got double snipers coming out from Kunoichi now, so double sniper battles coming in. Bob and the grab ready to go. This is a scary 30 seconds.
Yeah, if this grab actually manages to get value here, this is done. This is Jover for Kunoichi CGL. Look how early it was put out. The amplification, or the immortality field, it does something. It actually does everything. Kunoichi CGL, not only do they stay alive, but they get a pick. Emily is named for this sniper hero, and being able to pull out the Widowmaker. This is seriously a time where Hour Zero, they need to be scared. Overtime will inevitably be hit, and the fun, I'm still fighting in the backline. Nobody expected her to be there. Oh, that is it. That is the entire push that Kunoichi CGL had to work with. They finally got the momentum bowling, only for Bun to be in the back, ready to give Hour Zero a win.
I mean, that's all about economy right there. And once True Moon decided to stop styling on people and started getting serious, that's when the game changed. Seriously, because it was a complete stomp coming through from Kunoichi. And once they changed, once they went over to the Zarya, I mean, even though the mitigation still isn't the same, it still had the raw damage output to be able to deal with it. And I mean, you saw the swaps come from the DPS.
Yeah.
Everything working in spades for Hour Zero. So I mean, Sniper and company looking pretty damn strong here.
They certainly are, and Hour Zero came into this. They are the former Washington Timeless Squads, champions of the most recent Calling All Heroes minor event. I mean, these guys, they know what they're doing. They really, really do. And they want another victory. They want to add that under their belts, and starting with Kunoichi CGL, knocking them out 2-0, and continuing to push themselves up a leg, wanting to get that bye heading into tomorrow's playoff bracket. I mean, this is a team that is here to play, Billy, and they want to win once again. I'm really looking forward to see both of these squads later down the line, since we're not eliminating anybody just yet today. And guess what? We get more Kunoichi Overwatch at the end of it. We have round number 3, the final one for the day, coming up just right after this.
Hello, everyone. So good to see all of you here because we are back. Kunoichi bringing it back to you with some incredible content with the Kunoichi Kerfuffle. My name is Biscuit. You may have seen me in a couple leagues, not that much, but someone that you have to know is Spectreon right here to my left. How are you doing, Spectreon?
Well, burning the midnight oil a little bit over here in the European Union. A bit rough, but, hopefully the game should pump me up a little bit and should be some fun games for us today. What is it? ELO Heaven today, and they are matching up against, if I just check my notes.
I guess Gobiers, particularly,
Gobiers.
I'm excited. A couple of interesting players right here and really good level of play. We have to know that I'm so excited. I casted the first one, and now that I'm back, I get to see some more incredible players. And then some incredible rosters, such as the one on the side of Gobies. We have Orchin, Woopa, Low Quality, Litchi, and Lissoon, who most of them players from the US. Litchi, however, they will be representing Taiwan, if I'm not mistaken. Very balanced roster. We don't have any kind of substitutions, so you're gonna see them the whole time. If you're their fan, come on, go and cheer them on, because even though this is the round robin, every game counts, Spectreon, towards that seeding. And the seeding, if you get a good one, you could get a shot at that prize pool that is right at the very top. But Spectreon, they are not the only team on screen today. Can you tell me more about the enemy team?
Yep, ELO Heaven will be their opponents. A little bit of a larger roster. Looks like their starting roster will be Blissful, Kuna, Monarch, Flores, and Azu. Now, they do have a couple subs. They do have an extra support in case they need to bring out maybe a double flex support composition, perhaps. And I believe they also have an extra player on top of that. Nope, I'm imagining things. Just the extra support.
Oh,
but that's going to bring, I mean, both tanks will be solo tanking, so their flexibility is going to be tested, hoping they have a good hero pool that matches up. If, for example, one tank only plays Winston, the other Diva, might be a bit of a rough matchup, but we'll have to see as we're going to start thinking about the maps. It's going to be our map pool coming up now. Antarctic Peninsula will be the first port of call for these two teams in Antarctic Peninsula. A very brawl-centric map, not too many long sightlines that allow the kind of poke metas we've been seeing kind of develop throughout Overwatch League and Contenders to play. So lots of Zarya is what we're going to expect. Genji Sojin, Lucio Baptiste is probably what we're going to see some more of. I think we saw a little bit of that in the previous games of Kunoichi. I saw it come out against Kunoichi CGL, actually, who opted for their own bunker-style comp. I think it's a bit of a... That was a choice for them. I think most teams are going to be opting for the Zaryas, trying to run it down main. And I think in just a moment, we're going to see what these two teams have prepped for us. But we've had some exciting games today. Hopefully we have another one.
Right, and the one thing I also want to say is that going into this, Gobiers, when asked about their favorite compositions, they talked about the Brawl and they talked about Control as their favorite mode. So going in, they probably have played this map more than a couple of times, actually. If not, they will be experts at it. Look at the different approaches that they're taking, right? When you're seeing Orisa versus Sigma Spectreon, who do you expect to have the hand up? Because these are entirely different compositions.
It is, but Biscuit, I think we should hold off for just a couple seconds before talking about them, because some teams do like to bait and spawn, and I'm pretty sure that Life Weaver from Flores maybe isn't real. You see, making swaps now over to a more reasonable composition, and yeah, it is that Genji Sojin I talked about earlier. This Lucio as well for ELO Heaven, so absolutely bog standard. Gob is, on the other hand, they've opted for a little bit of a different beast. It looks like it's going to be Orisa Brawl, looking to shut down the pushes of the Zarya with the Mei. Will ruin a close range with the Reaper shotguns, and it's ELO Heaven who's going to be taking the high ground first.
Right, this is going to be Orisa versus the new and improved Zarya. Now that you see the gold mode, how are they going to die? We don't know, but Low Quality immediately going down. Beautiful headshot from the side of Blissful, putting a dent into their armor. Gonna send Woopa right into that ice block, denying them from presence onto the point. The wall is out, the spear as well, but this is going to be real bad for the side of Gobiers. Not the beginning that you want to see. Modern will pick up on another great kill onto Woopa. No more walls, no more freezing, and Blissful is not satisfied. Leeson goes down, Litchi as well, and Gobiers just goes down and down and down.
Blissful has had an amazing start to this game in the third match of the tournament. An opening rail, getting the early start on Control. And of course, Control is such a snowbally game mode, so they've absolutely put their team in an amazing spot to begin leveraging the point, getting that point pressure going, taking up some percentage and building some ults while they're at it. So Elo Heaven just going to drop off for a little bit as God B.
Kuna. Look at that, like a quick dash in, gets low quality out, and Gobbier's being held at their spawn. This is not what you want to see. Litchi will have to use that Tutu to get back into the safety of their spawner, but Orchid will not have the same kind of luck. They have to go all back in, and this is just Elo Heaven bowling them back into submission. 93 up until that grab, and we might just see it into their spawn. Listen will go down on Monarch, showing that they are the king of the Antarctic Peninsula. Solo ulting and missing it. Come on, guys. Be nice to each other.
I almost want to call that a Nene grab. I see the idea, but died before it had a chance to hit the ground. And I have to see if Gob is. I might want to be seeing some switches here. Litchi on the Kiriko isn't a hero I would have went towards personally. I think the Baptiste, for the kind of pace you want to play it, is going to provide a little bit more value. And they haven't been able to establish on angles, low quality. Folds early again. The blade coming in as well is just going to ruin Gob is.
They get frozen, and this is bad news because Gobbier's, what do? Here you spend all of your ultimates, but it doesn't matter when Monarch has 100% charge, 15% to go. Blissful looking at the water, maybe trying thinking if they are going to take a dip into it, but I don't know if they can touch Spectreon.
Kuno just went off the map. What is going on?
The VM, and oh my god, the window shot as well. Orchin's gonna go down. Blissful for just absolutely charging the overclock, getting triple kills, and this is just submission, pounding them into submission. Spectreon 1-0, 100%. Gobbier's just not able to establish their game at all.
Elo Heaven are performing an absolute drubbing right now. Gob is a spawn camp for the entirety of the first point, just getting absolutely nothing going. The opening pick, of course, going the way of Blissful, and from there it just got worse and worse and worse. Yes, it is a new day. Yes, it is a new point. Yes, they do have a chance to get that snowball going in their favor now, but I mean, the damage to your mental just for being spawn camped for 100% is already something we're going to have to be speaking about a little bit. And yeah, Litchi has swapped no more Kiriko over to the Moira, so a little bit more sustain, and it's going to be the double hit scan DPS to try and punish the push. But Elo Heaven, they've been in the kitchen. It's going to be the Symmetra Junkrat comp. Now, this is not something I've even thought of before.
I'm just saying they might be cooking some caviar on the side of Elo Heaven, or this might be some burnt cup popcorn, but I'm excited to see it regardless. Gobbier's immediately establishing control over the point. Urchin is spending a couple of cooldowns super early, and that is going to be Blissful. He just gets a kill onto Whoop. Low quality goes down God knows where, and this is Elo Heaven just absolutely bowling them again. Atsu, great pick onto Lee Soon, and this was a fight that finished before the game even had the chance to unlock the point, Spectreon.
And again, Gob is fold like paper, low quality, even going down to their own magnetic grenade is really not what you want to see. And yeah, a new composition could have brought a fresh leaf, but it's going to be more of the same. And look how disrespectful Elo Heaven is getting, just pushing, and again, we could see another spawn camp coming through.
Elo Heaven looking at they want to go to their spawn, but Orchin gets a great pickup onto us, so this could establish different momentum onto their side. The fate is spent, the low quality is going to go down immediately to Kuna, and the beam is charged. Blissful gets another pick onto Lee Soon. Monarch, the team is just all over them, and this is Gobbier is not able to do anything quite. Again, what are they doing, Spectre? I need to know, how do you break this spawn hole? Oh, it's not the Junkrat.
I mean, at the end of the day, the composition that Elo Heaven is running isn't amazing at investing into your DPS. So some pressure onto Kuna, onto Blissful, with maybe a Genji, a Tracer, might be able to buy you some space. Once you push them back, you can win the team fight. But if you're not winning these DPS duels, if you're consistently getting staggered like this, I mean, there's just no chance for that to happen. That's why Elo Heaven are in such strong control right now.
Right, Elo Heaven is just absolutely showing them what is what. Orchid kicks them out, tries to kick them out, but it won't be able to. Monarch, please stop! The king of the Antarctic Peninsula comes back, get a double kill onto their teammates. This is going to be a terror search into their spawn as well. This is a repeat of the first map. Not a singular percent. Elo Heaven, they already spent the wall. Gobby is going to have a couple of ultimates coming up, but will this change anything?
You've got one shot at your ult cycles, one shot to try and cap the point, to try and make something out of your favorite map type, and instead Wolfer dies meters from the spawn. Blissful, unknown, no one's looking at the Junkrat as they walk into the backline.
Holy, they also spent the wheel, the Junkrat, with those flank Spectron. Maybe this is the new Reaper, I don't know. But what I do know is that Elo Heaven dominantly gets a 2-0 over Gabiers. Antarctic Peninsula just turning into a game of how fast can we finish this? Play of the game will be onto their side, and this is a first to 2, so that means that Gabiers is 1 game away from just losing this game immediately. Like, I don't know what's happening here.
This ends.
There really were no positives for the side of Gabiers. No little nuggets of information that I can draw out to try and put a positive spin on this. This was absolutely one-sided, and that's the only thing I can really say about this. Just nothing got going. There was no even start for God B, just Elo Heaven winning every single fight they took, every risk, every gamble paid off, humongous dividends, and at the end of it, one of the most dominant 200-0s even that I think I've ever seen. Going into map 2, I mean, what do you even say, right? I mean, they say they like to play the brawl. They go into Antarctic Peninsula. They don't even look towards it too much. Only the Orisa variation and one that didn't pay off too much. Control their favored map type. You lose like that. I mean, what is that to say?
Not the best of views, right? And if you're like the next map, it cannot be Brawl because they just showed you what they are able to do, and then you're playing Orisa into the new Staria with the lower cooldowns with the bigger bubbles as well, so that enables your DPS so much, right? So at the end of the day, how are you going to like break through this process of, hey, how can we kill Staria, right? But that is not for me to decide. Thankfully, I'm not there in the match because if I'm playing against Elo Heaven, I'm just in shambles. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I hope that Gabiers is able to do so. 1 game away from losing. I think it's going to be our last game of the night on the side of NA. Of course, tomorrow we have a couple more games, but Spectrum, we have to remember, the loser of the match is going to pick the next map. So, Gabiers, what do you do here? Do you go poked and into a map like Secret Real? Do you want to go something more divey into the side of like Paraíso, something like Hollywood? What do you think?
I mean, from what we saw compositionally, I think that you kind of have to say Elo Hell probably have most bases covered in what I kind of assume the current meta is going to be. You know, you're not going to be seeing much of the Winston, much of the Wrecking Ball, the Diva. It's going to be lots and lots of Zarya, and Zarya, because she shuts down those dive heroes, is going to be played almost everywhere. So I don't think there's too much you can do to shift the compositions massively towards you. It's about what maps that you're particularly good at, what maps you might have heard of rumor that your opponent's particularly bad at. I think in the first composition we saw, then it was all kind of right and tight from the side of Elo Heaven. Their second was a little bit more greedy. Maybe some mobile heroes can shut that down, but that's going to require a level of execution that unfortunately we haven't seen from them so far. Midtown will be the choice, possibly the final resting place of Gob is. For their sake, I have to hope it isn't. We hopefully have to hope that we see a better showing from them on their own map pick.
Yeah. No, it's if you lose on your map pick, that is just disheartening at the end of it all. But Spectrum, this is a curious map, right? Because you can play the Ramacha has been not at all present in this meta. Like back then, he was just pressing the Annihilation big red button on the table, killing everyone, and that's what you played at Midtown. But now we see a mixture of the Orisa, we see the Zarya, and some teams do like to favor the monkey compositions because you can just go in with these big antis and just what kills that, right? Like, how are you supposed to sustain? How are you supposed to sustain if you're not able to be healed at all, right? So Midtown is one of those maps that is going to test your adaptation to different parts of the map. Like the beginning is super based on elevation here on this part of the metro. Then you have the whole flat ground on the side of the control point. But then on the second and third, it just changes completely, right? So this is Gabiers hoping to test them and be like, hey, you may be really good at the brawl, but can you do the rest? We may have to see it. We may prove it wrong or right. We don't know. Elo Heaven, however, 1 game away after a dominant display of what they are able to do in Overwatch. And Gabiers, hopefully this is not the resting place, just as you said.
Well, there's only one way to find out, and that involves the 10 players in the server going up against each other. Elo Heaven starting off on the defense with an interesting look of things. Surely this isn't what they've elected to do. No, it looks like it is real. So we've got a very decent composition. We've got an Illari Symmetra, which is a little bit greedy, and then you've got kind of Sombra, Wrecking Ball, Kiriko Dive core. So I kind of expect to see Illari, Symmetra taking angles, playing slow, trying not to get flattened by Gob Ears, and the rest of the team of Elo Heaven trying to get isolations. Gob Ears, with the Orisa poke comp, they're going to just try and run up, take as many angles as possible, poke out Elo Heaven before a dive comes through. That's going to be their win condition.
Right.
We'll have to see if it works out, but low quality
already
instantly folded by Azu.
Yeah, Asu gets a big headshot, and those Kiriko headshots are nothing to be joking about. Neither is this dive because Monarch is deep in, but how are they going to get out? We don't know yet. There's no Sombra to stop them. Monarch finally gets able to roll out an Elo Heaven, looking to hold them here in this spawn. Low quality is hacked, Orchin as well, and other health packs are gone as well. This is so much pressure onto the side of Gabi, because low quality, however, gets a good pick onto Asu, and this could be the beginning of something. Rolling right through the crowd, big hack onto the Moira. Not a kill, however, but this is the start of Gabi just marching onto the point. When you're on Orisa, you want to anchor, but it might not be possible if there's a ball just absolutely rampaging through your backline. The soldiers are not going to try to get a little bit of damage. The hack on the backline is already gone, but it won't work. Woopa gets sustained, but Flores puts the finishing touch onto them. Elo Heaven slowly but surely taking over. This might be their map. Ball onto the point, getting the kill into the soldier. Flores, beautiful headshot. That is going to seal the deal after 1 minute. Elo Heaven confirming the capture onto the point. Oh, I think I'm mistaken here. Gabir, sorry, trying to take over. Orisa's not gonna be doing it, and Kuna, good kill right there. But Gabir's got a little bit of an advantage right there onto the ticks.
Monarch got a crazy amount of value there on the Wrecking Ball. Just absurd plays coming through, the roll through and the pile drivers, absolutely ripping Gob Ears to shreds, and it felt like no one was even looking at them as they did all that. Azu again dies early, but traded. Gob Ears again sent back to spawn.
Flora is just getting a triple kill right there. It's going to send them to spawn, and this is not the place where you want to be. Monarch just rolling through, putting those mines that they're not even able to get a kill onto them at all. Elo Heaven holding them right here.
And I think they can continue to do this. They have this Illari ultimate going into this next fight. Normally that would be a bit of a throwaway, but no Suzu, no defense matrix. You can follow it up with the Wrecking Ball, roll through, and the slam. Could be an easy team wipe if Elo Heaven execute correctly, and so far it has been absolutely picture perfect from them. Azu might get caught on this early fight, as they have been before. We'll see if it ends up happening.
Woopa gets hacked, and I don't think that's going to be a kill, but that's just so much pressure. Your shoulder's going to be dying to Monarch, who says, I am the king once again on Midtown, and this is not where you want to see them. All over your backline, and one hit away from getting those mines, gets a kill into Lich, beautiful confirm, and this is just another spawn hold if you really look at it. Orchin gets the beat trying to push forward, but the Kiriko rush is gonna come back to bite them. Monarch will go down, getting a little bit too greedy, and you have 1 minute to take advantage of them not having a tank. The sun is gonna hit a lot of the members onto the side of Gabi. He's gonna get a kill onto low quality Litchi as well, and what seems to be a good chance to touch point is just slipping away from them. Orchin a little bit in the enemy backline's about to die, but it won't matter. Whoop, a great kill on the floor, is no more sustain, no more heal. The EMP comes out from the side of Elo Heaven, but it won't matter. Gabiers looks like they're falling apart. They didn't even need the ultimates if you really think about it. One hit away from being killed, and this is just a roll all over again, Spectrion.
I have to say, I'm not even sure if this spawn camp is efficient. It just seems disrespectful. It seems outright spiteful, even. There's no reason to do them this badly.
Wait, are they baiting them? Oh.
Yeah, by the looks of things. And the thing with Elo Heaven's comp as well is that when someone like Monarch, like Azu, like Blissful goes down early, well, hold the phone as low quality runs down main and catches one, will be traded. Maybe a chance here.
Oh, they are sick and tired. Oh, not this snipe from Kuna. They don't need a scope to finish Litchi mid ultimate. Actually, no, they got hacked out of it as well. Elo Heaven, all of their members are present. Litchi won't be there to keep up Gabir's. Koopa gets hacked after using their ult, and Kuna, they don't even need the beam. They're using secondary fire like it's the best thing. Orchin uses their Terror Switch, but it won't kill anyone. They just don't die on the side of Elo Heaven. Gabir is sitting AFK, is just sitting here trying to get something to happen. Blissful playing the spectator game right here. Hack onto Lich. Again, I've sealed the deal for them as well. The supports are down, everyone is down, and it's just Elo Heaven all day, every day, not letting them capture more than 2 ticks.
Are the workshop settings biased? Do Elo Heaven secretly have like 50% more damage? I don't know, but it feels like every single time Gob Ears eke out an advantage, and there have been a couple advantages, then Elo Heaven just wins it back in short order. Yes, there have been a couple 4-on-5s. Azu, Monarch going down early, but because the comp the Gob ears are playing ends up being so slow most of the time, because we're not seeing any angles taken by low quality and Wooper, there's very rarely any punish. The Soldier Cassidy we're seeing is very greedy, and I'm not sure there's enough resources to sustain both them and the Orisa. Yeah, I think some of the issues are compositional, but at the end of the day, I do think the execution from Elo Heaven is just so much better. Absolutely flawless coming through, and I mean, at this point, it does have to be all over, but the crying 83% will be all that Gob is accrued. Off the back of multiple advantages, that really does begin to look a little bit poorer than it would have otherwise. And I think here, maybe the score maybe doesn't even tell the whole story. Sorry.
Yeah, and you know, Kuna is asking if the rest of the players want something. They're getting a box combo instead of Monarch. You know, they're having fun with it, and their composition shows the same. Spectron, for the good of Gobbers, I hope that they're able to stop them, because this is the Lifeweaver Roadhog pull tech. If you haven't seen it, then this might be the perfect day to do so. They're walking out on this composition, an absolute mess. And Gobbers looks like they want to play the 4 Mercy. They have no heals for Orchin. I don't know what's going on here. I'm not an analyst, thankfully, so I don't have to say anything.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I really don't like what I'm seeing from Gobbers, and oh yeah, it's
Holy! That's not
I think
what
it's
you
the
want.
beginning of the end here. I think you have to call it that. There's Lichie's down, so you only got Lucio healing for a full comp, a greedy comp.
Yeah, and this is going to be a rock in the face of Monarch. Blissful, he just walks down on the turret mode, shooting into the backline, getting triple kill, and how do you win this? Look at that Oz who pulls Monarch into the backlines. Spectron, they're just having fun with it.
I mean, at this point, why not? You know, you've already essentially won the game. I think Elo Heaven know full well that they could have taken this dub at any time they wanted, and it's just going to be Blissful AFK getting the final pieces of value for their team.
Blissful's not even touching their mouse or their keyboard. Not even after they won. Elo Heaven takes a win after on Gobbers, who I don't try to be mean. I'll emphasize that these players could probably gap me with one hand type of hand behind their back, with their eyes closed as well, with no sound, with no monitor. But still, today what we saw is just Elo Heaven showing that they want to be the winners. Like, they need that prize pool Spectron, and they're showing it today.
I don't think I have words in my vocabulary, in my lexicon, to kind of describe what absolute domination we just saw there. I mean, absolutely crazy victory coming through, and Gob B, absolutely no answer. It felt like they got a fistful of frags across both maps. Just absolute drubbery. I'm out of words. I am genuinely speechless after what we've just seen, but I mean, that's one way to get your final victory in, I believe, the round robin stage here, getting me moving forward. Will Elo Heaven, but good God, Biscuit.
Yeah, Spectron, I'm sorry. I remember a lot of my casts, you know, very fond of this little thing that I get to do on the mic, but I've never seen a game like that. Never seen a team just walk into spawn and not let them play the game. And it's just 100% to 100% full cap to like 1 minute cap as well on Midtown, right? So Gobbers, I cannot doubt that they're a solid team, but today Elo Heaven just proved that they are stomping through this whole NA round robin bracket that we're seeing. And I think that's going to be it. We have no more games. First to 2, Elo Heaven takes it over. But if you are excited, if you like what you saw today, regardless of how one-sided it may have been, we have more talent coming up tomorrow, both on the EO side of things and the NA side of things. Not only players, but there's so much production and casters putting love into this project that we get to do on Kunoichi Kerfuffle. Spectron, before we go, anything you want to say?
Yeah, I'll be on the EU broadcast tomorrow at a more reasonable time for people who live in the same continent as me. So, you know, tune into that if you happen to be up early. If you're NA, if you're EU, you're still awake at 3 a.m. Firstly, absolute hero. But also head off to bed now. Maybe get yourself a cuppa before then, and be up bright and early for the EU stream, because Kunoichi Kerfuffle is going to continue tomorrow, and that's not something you want to miss.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it at all. You can search us up on our Twitters if you like what you saw, if you like the talent that has been displayed here. As well, for the players, go give them a little bit of a shout out, go follow them, see what goes on through the bracket. Maybe Gob here to wake up, and maybe Elo Heaven just takes it all. the only way you're gonna find out is by not taking your eyes off the screen. But for today, everyone, we go back to bed. Thank you, production. Thank you, Spectrum, for casting with me today. It has been an absolute pleasure. You may see me again, you may not see me again, but what I do know is that Kunoichi Kerfuffle will be back soon tomorrow. See y'all next time.